Arcteryx.
We're just checking in. We're currently sitting in a pretty heavy snow squall.
Obsessively designed gear for mountain athletes. With you from cold starts to the last lap. Worn when it counts. Arcteryx.
Mesdames, Mesdemoiselles, Messieurs, bonsoir et bienvenue sur la retransmission en direct de cette quatrième édition du Team Boulder ici au but de Chaumont. Dans quelques minutes vont se lancer les finales avec les 10 dernières équipes au départ de cet événement incroyable. On sera en direct sur Twitch, sur YouTube et sur France.tv avec des commentaires en français et en anglais. Donc n'hésitez pas à choisir votre canal de diffusion préféré. On a passé une journée incroyable. Toute l'équipe est là derrière, prête à s'élancer pour vous enflammer ce live. J'espère que vous allez passer un bon moment. Ça a été le feu du début à la fin de cette journée de qualification. Et pour la suite, le final, ça va se passer juste derrière. Enjoy.
Very excited to be here. This event is an event like no other, and in the commentary booth I have got Maragda with me, who has been working so incredibly hard at this event. Maragda, how are you feeling after how many days setting is it, and now you're joining me here?
But actually, it's been 3 years. 3 years. Wow, that's too many times. No, 3 days. And it's quite intense because in the end we prepare like a full qualification round and final round for all of these top athletes in the world. So it's quite intense. It has been like really long 3 days, but in the end we are really happy with the result, and let's see now the final round.
Yes, we are here at the final round, and it's been quite the journey to get here for these athletes. I heard there was 145 teams competing at this event today, and we're only going to see the very top 5 male teams and the very top 5 female teams. So yeah, just 10 climbers per gender have made it this far. And tell us a little bit about that qualification. It was 20 boulders, but not everybody competed on all of them. Is that right?
Exactly. It's pretty funny because we have 20 boulders to separate all the competitors, and as you said, we have like different levels. As amateurs, we call like the pro people that are competing in World Cups. So it's quite interesting to do like a nice progressive to have everyone split and to final have the 5 teams for this final round.
And in the qualification round, there were 20 boulders, but am I right in saying that you could only progress to the next boulder if one person in your team completed it? That's right, isn't it?
Exactly. Here in Boulder Arena, what we want to do is we have 20 boulders, and then just one member of the team needs to top it to be able to go to the next boulder. So basically you have 4 minutes to one boulder, 4 minutes to the other one, so it's quite intense.
It's very relentless, isn't
intense
it?
climbing.
Yeah, no rest at all, and they've done that this morning, let's not forget. But yeah, from 145 teams we are down to just 10, 5 male teams, 5 female teams, and now things start to get a little bit more interesting because the setup for the finals is a little bit different to what we're used to.
Here, I don't know. Here, the members of the team, they wanted to put on the wall something like crazy and to create like a different and funny system as we are not used to see in any competition. So here it's quite interesting, as we will see. We have like the first boulder, it's gonna be like, we call one-shot boulder. So even if you are here in finals, depending of what's gonna happen in that first boulder, maybe you cannot compete in finals. So it's like double qualification round, I would say.
Now let me just talk a little bit about the atmosphere. You can see on the screen here the clock is ticking down. Just 1 minute and 20 seconds left to go until this competition starts. And honestly, walking into this gym today and feeling the intensity and the buzz and the joy as well, I've really not ever felt such an atmosphere at a climbing competition. And you can see here our crowd absolutely packed in here. There are 600 spectators squeezed in. I actually can't believe that they can fit that many people in here, to be honest.
Exactly. Here we have like a crazy huge community. We have like a lot of people who climb in our gyms, a lot of people who came from other climbing districts in Milan, in London. So in this edition, in this TVA 4, we create such a huge event connecting all of the different climbing gyms. So I think that's why we can see this intense crowd.
The athletes are lining up right in front of us. They will be heading out to presentation very, very soon. They're really putting on a show here, aren't they? It's a true spectacle and the crowd are here for it.
Vous n'êtes pas spectateur du TPA, messieurs dames, vous êtes acteur du TPA, et actrice du TPA. petit tour du côté du rideau pour voir où est-ce qu'on en est. Parce que franchement, la pression ne fait que monter, la tension arrive. Messieurs, dames, countdown avec moi, est-ce que vous êtes prêts? 3, 2, 1,
And it is go time. It's absolutely mental in here as we see the athletes enter the stage. All the female athletes together, they will be climbing first in this finals. And as we talked about earlier, the first boulder is a knockout boulder. It is so intense from the moment that this event starts. And we don't know if we're going to see all of these teams progress to the next part of the competition, if they're going to get to try more than one boulder. And we won't know until we find out if one of these climbers in each team can complete the very first boulder. And the first boulder is, I think it's a little bit mean.
I think it's quite mean. I mean, I wouldn't say mean actually. It's like, I think it's like the maybe most risky proposition that we present to the athletes on all of these 4 editions. Like normally there's these kind of risky moves, but we knew in all the editions that it was like in a good level and it's gonna be fine. But this year I think it's quite more risky and I don't want to say anything in advance, but it's quite interesting. Risky, but interesting.
Now we do know that we need 3 teams to progress to the second boulder. So with that, we're going to have to wait and see how this plays out really, aren't we? Because in theory, if we see our first athletes drop this boulder, if an athlete falls off, they're not going to be moving on, and that's going to be heartbreaking.
For me, what is really nice is to see the moment that the team decide who is gonna climb, and then actually being in that team, you need to trust your partner, and then it's 100 go one attempt 100%.
And that's what's unique about this competition, is that it is a partner competition. So not only do you have that one attempt, you have kind of the pressure that you're carrying for the team as well.
This should be terrible. If you are there and you feel that crowd really close to you, and you know that it's like one try, I wouldn't be able to be in that moment.
I mean, having competed on the biggest stages, I understand what it's like to deal with pressure, but I don't know how you would deal with the pressure of your teammates.
Actually,
as well.
sometimes when I ask to some athletes how is the feeling, because they are used to climbing high level of competitions, but never in any comp it's one try. You need to do a flash, and they say like it's the most weird feeling that
this strange scenario
strange
that they're unfamiliar
moment. It's like
with.
you're taking, that they're not used to do this, right? So I think also it's like quite interesting contest for some of the top athletes.
We just got a great look at our teams, and now we're going to get to see them up on the screen here. This is the top 5 female teams that made it through to this women's final.
I think it's quite nice because it's like the first time that we have a lot of different girls of different countries. Like we have maybe the new ones from England, I think, maybe Japanese, because we have in the other final Japanese, but male Japanese, but any female. So I think it's quite interesting that we have like more, variety of girls.
Yeah, what's incredible is there was 35 nationalities represented in this competition. 35! And now we see, I believe it's 5 nations represented in the final. And I think that's really shows how much the athletes love this event and how passionate they are about this event too. You know, there's so many invitational comps on the calendar now. To see such great reputation, to see such caliber at this event really is a testament to how incredible it is. What's going on now, Maragda? Tell me about what they're up to here. So, what are they doing right now?
Well, maybe I'm going to ask you as an athlete, what you would do. Because I didn't experiment at all, like being in this situation as an athlete. But maybe you can say to us, like, being ex-athlete, what you would do now.
Yeah, maybe for context there, to introduce myself a little bit, my name is Shauna Coxey and I am a professional rock climber. So I'm still an athlete, I'm just not a competition athlete anymore. And I competed on the World Cup stage, won a couple of things and made it all the way to the Olympic Games and competed at the Tokyo 2020 in 2021 Olympic Games.
It's like a huge CV, like you are being an Olympic athlete. It's like the dream of everyone.
So I've spent quite a lot of time on the mats reading boulders, just as they're doing right now. So they're doing what's called the observation period, which has just come to the end. They had 2 minutes to observe the boulder. In that time, they have to figure out a sequence, which it's quite a familiar situation to be on the mats, figuring out a sequence. For all of these athletes, they have done that before. What they haven't done is had to decide with a partner who is going to climb. And with this being the knockout boulder, who is going to take all of that pressure into this climb, which it does look to me like a very high-risk climb.
It is. No, I mean, when you try and you go, I think in that boulder you need to take the risk, like, go 100% sure and secure. Like, you cannot dab. If you dab, it's pretty easy to lose and to fall in that particular boulder. So
yeah, and so we've got boulder 1, as we've just seen on the screen. They will then move on to the next 3 boulders where they will have 4 minutes to climb. The top is worth 25 points and there will be 2 zones on the boulders 2, 3 and 4. And if they are to top boulder 1, they'll carry that 25 points for the top through to the next boulders.
Son ministre ne pouvait pas en donner à tout le monde. Alors là, c'est sympa, mais ils m'ont donné des chaussettes nulle part. Genre, vous voulez votre chaussette de l'étrange, tout. Ouais, non, mais les gars, vous n'allez pas m'attraper à chaque fois. Attendez, je vais faire un petit tour là-bas à gauche.
It's great to see the crowd getting lots of freebies out there as our MC, legend of the game, is running around chucking stuff out.
and some of them actually are your friends. That could be so nice that now you are been here doing the commentator, but before you were there in the mat with them.
Yeah, it's so strange to be on the other side of the mats, that's for sure. And now we're getting a really great look at this first women's boulder. And you can see here it's a very precarious start position. And then I'm expecting a big jump up to that first orange hold. A big swing and lâché across to that pocket that we can see there. Then maybe an awkward, precarious press up to that no-tex hold into the finish, hopefully getting that 25. Maragda, you've climbed on this boulder, right? Tell us a little bit about it. We've got some stats on the screen.
So, I mean, in that level, the first move, the first step jump, it's quite risky, but it's fine. Then the big swing is like the most commitment move. You need to be sure and to be precise because it's like small pocket. And then the last move also is the same. When you touch the plastic hole, you need to be really well in the leg position to be able to compress the top. And this is the most risky move. Like, we know it's fine, but you need to be really well put in the position, and then if not, you are gonna fall for sure. So that move is gonna be more interesting to see how they are gonna read, if it's like heel hook.
I'm gonna just cut you off there a little bit, Maragda, because we've got our first athlete about to get on the wall. Look at this, Brooke Rabbitoo is setting up, and this is the show starting right now.
Directly Brooke. Okay.
We're straight in. I'm sorry to jump in and cut you
As
off
we
there,
said,
but
I think
all
now
eyes on Brooke.
she's trying to learn. Okay, she's seen what I need to do. Easy, okay. That's so nice to see. And now, as I said, like, she really easy to hook and commitment.
Woo!
That's so nice. Actually, it's really crazy to see how confident this level of athletes are, honestly. Because trying this boulder, of course, it's just to commit, and in another circumstances, all of them are gonna do it easy. but I cannot imagine in one try.
One thing that was so fascinating there is that Brooke walked out. There was such little hesitation. Chloe brushed the holds, and she was on within a matter of seconds from walking out onto the mats. And that really speaks to her prowess and confidence. And you know, we've seen Brooke and Chloe compete together at this event previously, and they worked so well as a team together in finals last year. Right? So I think they're going to be wanting to put on a show for us tonight.
I think seeing the qualification round, the most two teams that they are gonna fight for the title in this TBA, it's gonna be maybe the top two favorite ones. Brooke Rabatu and Chloe Koskoy, and maybe between Zelia Nezu, Maïlis Piazzalunga, and Melody and Saula. I think these ones maybe they are gonna give like the most show and see who is gonna dominate the title.
Out on the mats, we have Melody about to pull on here. Again, eyes focused, she's looking straight up. She's swinging back and forth, she's looking to where she's going, but this move is high risk. She does hit the pocket with great accuracy there in such a position. Very little hesitation, but whew, that felt like high stakes. That was absolutely incredibly swift work there from both our first two teams, and it's easy to start to think that this might be too easy for them, but I'm sure you can attest to its difficulty, right?
Right, I mean, I cannot say it's hard at all. Let's see now who's gonna do. I mean, if we're gonna do a bet, I think for that style, maybe Zelia is gonna try the first try. I think it's really like, I mean, she has like a lot of skills, but it's like the Zelia style.
Zelia pulling on really big jump for the first jump, and then she's going to swing herself across. This is really important to get this swing and momentum perfect. I think she knows that the last two teams have cruised through this, and I can see that in her body language when she's looking
And now is what I said, just to fit really well the position, feel that way.
Yeah, great work. As we was probably expected.
Well, now we know the two really finalist teams.
Yeah, so these three teams are guaranteed to progress because they haven't fallen on the knockout Boulder. But we still have two teams left to go, and
Maybe not, let's see.
we don't.
No, actually, for us it's more to do something that is risky, and then let's see if some team can miss it. But our goal is not to take all this out, you know, it's not like the DX.
I love the fact that you can see there the focus was in Celia's eyes the moment her second hand came up to match.
Allez, on fait un petit countdown s'il vous plaît. 3, 2, 1, Jimmy!
Okay, and next out on the mat, who have we got?
I get Lily Abgiad in Selma. Yes, Lily's gonna do that try.
Is this what you'd expect? Is Lily quite confident in this style? I think I've seen
think
her.
so. I see her a lot of doing swing and training a lot, and in competitions I think looks like really
Ooh, but that was the
Kind of on the limit,
closest
right?
we've seen to someone not quite sticking that, and I think the nerves are going to be playing on her a little bit as she throws with this top hold. Super controlled, great tension. Second hand comes in, and
this year we have like a huge level in female. It's crazy.
I think she looked incredibly relieved to have that over and done with, hey?
It's insane.
Such good climbing from all of the athletes so far. And do you think the route setting team are going to be surprised by this, or is this what you were expecting?
Honestly, we were talking a lot to finally to if it was necessary before putting finals doing some adjustments, but we are really confident that maximum maybe one team can miss it, but not more.
Okay.
So
And the
we are
teams
kind of good at expecting.
The teams are climbing in the order that they qualified, which is quite unusual for a finals, and that'll only be on the first boulder. As we progress, they will climb in reverse order. So we're seeing our fifth team that qualified this morning, and it looks like Holly Toothill will be the one climbing. Maya Madeira supporting. She picks up the brush. A fun fact about this team is that they didn't realise they qualified for the finals. So Maya had a 2-hour board session this afternoon.
No.
So she's definitely feeling the fatigue. And Holly said she's the most unprepared for a climbing competition that she's ever been. But she's having so much fun out there. So she's really
you were
really
like training after qualis because you didn't expect that, and afterwards,
yeah, and Holly as well coming into this kind of not feeling in comp shape. But I said to her maybe that's exactly what she needs to feel no pressure, go out and have fun. And yeah, what a performance they've given, knowing that
That's
they
crazy.
weren't
Actually,
expecting this.
and also to be from England is like maybe the first athlete here competing in that CVA.
Let's go, Holly. Oh my goodness, that was by the skin of her teeth. Wow. Holly, good save, mate. She gets her foot up, reaches up to that no-tex. It is not over until both hands are on that top hole. And
That's
she does
so
it. You can see the elation in her body
well,
language there. Let's go.
That's nice. I mean, I think for all the route setters team, the only message is we can still push it. We can still push in this one-shot boulder.
And, some of the athletes were very, very close on that move, so it was almost there, but just shows that, the women out there are even stronger than the route setters expect.
Totally. I think also it's kind of afraid to take the risk and, like to do this show that everyone is stopping, but you feel as a spectator, oh, that's crazy risky, but no one is missing, or do some disaster if you push too much. But I think I like the proposition, and I like that they are showing like, oh, this is easy, we can do that.
Yeah, it's really, really cool to have a new concept that is really pushing the athletes and adding those layers of jeopardy and curiosity as well. And we get a good look at our scores here, but there's not much to say because all of our teams are in joint first with 25 points, and it's great to see that they'll carry that score into these next boulders. So the dream score in this round would be 100 points, right? We're going to be working off the Paris Olympic bouldering scoring, so we'll see 2 zones on the next boulders, 25 points for a top, 5 points for the first zone, 10 for the second zone, 25 for the top, and then they will lose 0.1, minus 0.1 for every failed attempt. I think I got that right. That was. I'll get more efficient with that as the event
You
goes on.
look
It's been a while since I commentated at the Olympics.
No.
I'll try that again in a little bit for those latecomers. But
You look great. You look great. You look like you are.
That is a tiny little screw-on hold, or a jib as it's sometimes called, and we get a really good look at the no texture part of that HRT volume there. Just explain to us, how slippy is that shiny surface? Is there any grip at all?
No. It's like really slippery. Really, really slippery. And actually, we are seeing just the start of the next boulder for female, the tiny slab. And it's going to be also quite interesting. I think there's like a lot of different steps in that boulder. So let's see what's going to happen. I think now we are gonna start with the opposite way. We are gonna see first Maya and Holly to go out for the second female boulder.
And talk to me a little bit about this boulder, what we're seeing here. We're going to get a 3D look at the climb, and it looks like it starts off quite slow with a bit of intensity around the middle, and then it doesn't look like the ends are given either.
The idea is like to start in a slabby sensation, so you need to cross your right foot in that tiny hole that we saw before, and like just as a move to the left and be precise to the first zone. So this move also is kind of balanced and risky. And then actually after you need to do this like footwork in these two holes, go into the corner. Also is like balance but kind of intense and like force and electric. Going to the corner to the second zone. And actually going to the top is like the last step. It's more crimpy and powerful. So I like that boulder that we have 3 different styles in one.
Yeah, I really like that. And is this wall a slab or is it vertical?
It's completely vertical. So it's like not really slab feeling.
Maya, fresh off her 2-hour board session this afternoon, she said it wasn't one of the hardest board sessions that she's ever had, but it was pretty full on. But hopefully it won't have taken too much out of her slab climbing abilities.
Let's see how the girls are gonna read the boulder. Exactly, that was a real intention.
Now we see both of the women on screen, Holly and Maya, both have their shoes on. So now they'll both probably rapid fire attempts between the two of them because that clock is ticking down. You can see in your bottom right hand corner of your screen, there's 3 minutes 10 left.
Oh,
really?
Also, it's quite nice to see your partner doing the attempt, so you also can learn from what you need to do from the next try if you need to go.
Holly looking really smooth through that first section, and like you just said, Maya's learned some beta there. She's got some information about the climb, and Holly's actually allowed to give her beta on the wall and cheer her on now, isn't she? So they can really work as a team out on the mats together. It's such a unique format. So what happened there is Maya reached out to the side wall on the right. She lost her balance a little bit, tried to save herself, then realised there was black tape there. So she jumped off, which is why we saw Maya kind of step back off the wall. And now we get to see them having a little discussion between themselves at who goes next. And they've decided Holly will be the next one to try
it again.
Holly is standing up. Can she repeat this first section? So smooth through that. Holly is incredibly good at technical climbing, and we're really seeing that on display here.
Looks really confident in that style, isn't it?
Really trusting her feet, good flow, super close to the wall, and a massive correction from her previous attempt there. Getting the 10-point zone. Can we see her top this?
So now actually you need to rely on the crimpy really hard.
Yeah, you could see
and
her
like a really powerful move to the top.
You could see her like fully crimping on that right hand, wrapping her fingers around it and trying to get as much out of it as she could, and just didn't quite have maybe the good body positioning or the feeling that she wanted on that hold. And the last hold actually isn't as good as you expect, is it? It looks like a jug when we were kind of seeing the clips of the climb, but I think it's actually not. I think it's quite sneaky and mean, that last hold. Am I right?
No, it's not quite mean. I think it's just another different style and proposition for the athletes.
But it's not a joke. The last hold is not a joke.
It's not a joke.
It's not a given. When you get one hand in it,
no,
it's not going to be over until two hands.
And you need to still be strong to match the last hole, which is not done, the boulder. So I think sometimes there's like some vision of the run and you want like just one style, like imagine full coordination boulder, so just the coordinate climber can do it. But I think here you need to be like really diverse to be able to top that boulder.
Yeah. Holly's hips are absolutely glued to the wall through this start section. She's climbing so well. Is she going to be able to find the strength and the power to get through this final section? She's got the 10. Can she get the 25?
So, yeah. Ale.
One hand on the finish. Can she see two? Holly
Yes.
Toohill tops women's two.
That's so great for Holly.
She said she wasn't feeling fit coming into this competition, but I'm
Maybe
not
it
sure
was
she
nice
was
the
telling
training
the truth.
before. Maybe it wasn't so bad.
I really like this boulder. I think it's got a great variety of different styles. Like you said, it's really kind of testing the climbers in a few different ways, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the other teams on it too. Is there a boulder in this women's round that is your favorite?
I would say, as a favorite, it's gonna be hard to say. Maybe that I'm really expecting what's gonna happen for the third boulder. It's more coordination style, and it's kind of different coordination that we are used to see.
Okay.
So I don't know. I want to see how it's gonna go. But this one, I like what I said. It's like a lot of different styles in one. So the most variety climber can succeed. So now we are seeing Lilia Briat and Selma Mimoun, both from the French team.
Yeah, a young team here. Lily, 18, Selma, just 21. Both experienced in the youth circuit, and Lily kind of making her moves into the Boulder World Cup circuit as well this year. And I think there's a lot of kind of promise within this team as well, isn't there? But they're really showcasing and kind of holding their own with the more experienced women out there.
Actually, me from moving here in Paris to work, I was like really surprised to see the level of the people here in French, of all the French team, people like climbing. Like here in that country, there's like a huge level of people.
And what I will say is the French are very well known for their
really
slab
used to climbing
climbing.
that style, of course. Let's see for the powerful movement going to top, but looks really confident and easy.
She looked in absolute cruise mode there. The French, they are known for their slab climbing. The depth in this nation for impressive talent is totally incredible. And yeah, what a performance there. Lily didn't even get to try.
That's nice. That's different. Lily did the one shot, and now Selma did the second one.
Yep. So what is interesting there as well is Lily got to have more of a rest too, right? So Selma just looking so in control, and you could see her really engage her left arm as she hit that top hold and brought the right hand into match and was totally cruising.
Okay, now again also French team. Zelia Vezu and Maëlys Piazzalunga. Before we saw Zelia doing the one-shot boulder. Let's see now if maybe Maëlys wants to start.
I really love how they brush the holds to each other, and there's a real sense of teamwork, and I know that's what the whole event is about, but you know, they are planning the route together. They're really kind of getting involved, and it's just so great to see. And we've seen a few interesting pairings within the team setup as we see Maëlys pulling on and looking quite composed, I'd say.
I think she wants to try more dynamic, which is okay. Well,
that was a different approach. She stood up into that super static before stepping out.
I think the image is not on the same
We'll
side.
get that image caught up for you as soon
It's
as we can.
cooler way,
The crowd is still cheering, suggesting that she's still progressing through this climb, and we'll keep you updated as much as we can as we get the screen sorted out for you. One hand on the top, two hands in.
Again, right?
Another flash. She looks incredibly surprised there, but it's so great to see her. Well, I was going to say it's great to see her, but we didn't actually see her. What was great was to see her reaction, and I love that about climbing competitions. One of my favourite things to do at a climbing competition, it actually isn't to watch the climbing, it's to watch the athletes' faces because they tell such a story, and that was one of surprise.
That's
but
really nice to see because I think as a route setters, what we love and all the people we share that same passion is to give these emotions and these feelings to the athletes. So I think basically it's what we are looking for to give like a nice experience on the wall and a nice feelings that they need to do an experiment in that particular moment. So I think it's really nice that you say that.
Oh, that's lovely to hear as well. And I think there's so many different philosophies within route setting. But yeah, it's great to hear that. And we got a quick look at the scores there. But remember, we still have 2 teams left to go on this boulder. We're getting another look at the boulder there, and it really does look a lot harder than the athletes are making it seem.
It's for me, it's unbelievable how easy they are doing all boulders. This kind of body learning, you know. So now we have Melody Sekikawa, I would say, and Saula Legondel.
And Melody,
I
she
think
was
Melody
on.
looks like really, or maybe not.
No, I think Melody climbed on the
Saula
first one,
Legondel is
so
gonna try
Saula will
first.
climb. Yeah.
It's nice because I think they are doing the opposite. Like the girl who tried the one shot now is waiting.
Ooh, that was very close.
That was really close.
What you could see there in her body language as she was setting up for the move, there was a lot of movement, and you could almost tell that she wasn't as confident going into that jump across, that step across, and they're sharing Vita between each other now. And
I think that system shows to the people that really, I don't know, the really passion of climbing in situ because
yeah, the
we
camaraderie that exists within.
our sport basically is to share methods, to share everything. So I think in that system we can see that our really sport.
Melody made
look at
swift
that.
work across.
We couldn't
first
try that.
section.
That's crazy how confident and strong, like in the frog position, she is.
The route setters weren't able to test that then, no.
I was really
Super
like
strong.
not comfortable to even try it, you know. That's
Great
really
work
crazy.
from Melody. Looking calm, collected, in control, but they will get minus 0.1 because of the failed first attempt, so that will start to split those scores a little bit.
Well, actually looks like also the second boulder, it's more different, the different tries that the teams are doing, but also looks like all teams maybe can succeed.
I really hope these next 2 are a little bit harder because I feel like these women out there, they want to push themselves to their limits and really put on a show for the spectators, for all of you watching. And by the way, all of you watching, we can see the live chat, so do say hi, do chat to us, let us know how you're doing, where you're watching from, and we'll try and answer some questions if you want to send them over. Maragda has been on all of these boulders, has been part of the testing team. I flew in about an hour before it started, thanks to an unpleasant flight delay, but I'm here and so happy to be here. I got a quick catch up with some of the athletes beforehand, so it's great to see where all them are at. And I was actually really surprised to see how calm and collected they all look, despite having done a pretty brutal qualification round earlier.
It is. And I am here climbing it also really happy that you are here actually. I'm really nervous and excited at the same time.
There is nothing to be nervous about, I promise I don't bite. Okay,
so now it's the turn of Chloe.
Yeah, our last team have stepped out onto the mats. Brooke, she made swift work of that first one, and we're seeing Chloe attempt women's 2. I pause a little bit there because I feel like on slabs sometimes I have to hold my breath just to help the climbers out. Chloe and Brooke have recently moved to Paris. They are living here
really
at the minute is
now
their home
see.
city. Oh, and a right foot slip, a big foot slip for Chloe there. She looks so calm and composed. I was really surprised by that, and I think she was too. And Brooke now pulling on, and I think we'll see her move through this with relative ease. But as we've seen, foot slips can happen. I do want to say, 10 points for the matching outfits, these two. And I think a lot of the teams have got matching outfits on. We've seen some matching hairstyles and yeah, Chloe
I
and Brooke.
love all the stylish that all the female athletes did it for finals. All of this glitter and colorful style. That's so cute.
They're having a great time out there.
Okay, easy for Brooke. And I think also seeing the qualification route of Brooke, I think also it's going to be easy final and easy end.
You can see here though,
Let's
she's
see
looking
what-
around and she
Oh,
was looking for
nice.
something to aid her for that match. She didn't actually need it in the end, but just shows you that that last hold really is very much not a jug. And Brooks, you know, she's one of the best female climbers that's ever existed, so it's not a surprise to see her move so easily through that. But we did see her tested in the finals here last year. They didn't walk away with the victory like I think many people would have expected, you know, coming off the back of like Brooke taking a bronze medal at the Olympics, Chloe stepping up into the World Cup circuit, making multiple World Cup semi-finals, and she's, you know, Chloe's 2 times vice national champion in the States. So this team, I think, had a lot of expectation in TBA 3 and
yes.
didn't kind of, they came 3rd, I believe. So I think they're going to be wanting that gold this time and they're going to be fighting for it.
And I think all the people also really fan of Brooke. I mean, being like the first woman to climb 9B plus, really kind of recently this year, is something like, as a climber, you are on the news and you know that, and it's
for
unbelievable.
context, Brooke was the first female to climb a lead route, so a sport climb, a rope climb of the grade 9B plus. And that's really closing the gap for men and women as well. And she's really just one of the greats of our sport for sure. And now we're looking at
So
women's
that's the
3.
Bundesliga that I'm really curious of how it's going to work. It's like a first easy but coordination step to the first zone, to the zone number 5.
Easy step. You say easy step, good.
Easy step.
It's still a little precarious. And, you know, look at this. Our risk is at
Which
10
is
out of 10
risky.
here.
And then to go into the second zone is like, it's a different coordination feeling. You need to be precise of these double black holes and jump and be really precise in the volume to the reception and compress the other holes. But it's not like the normal boulder, the normal swing that you are used to train. It's more you need hopefully a few tries to understand that different type of momentum.
So there's a level of complexity within the movement that the athletes you don't expect they'll have been tested on before.
I guess, and I hope so. Because for us it was like quite tricky to understand, and then while we realized it was okay, that's gonna work, and it's kind of different and interesting. But let's see.
Maya is the first to pull on of our first team on Boulder 3. Very smooth there. Looked a little precarious as she got her body positioning right, but she did it with relative ease, and now you see her start to progress sideways, and this is a great look. You can see here that the angle is slightly slabby, it looks to me there, which allows for a bit of comfort in this setup position.
Exactly.
But that almost makes it harder to get out of it, right?
And now you need to be like slow, going to these double black holes and pull yourself fast, going to the second zone.
Not quite that slow though. I think you want to be a little bit
not quite
faster.
that slow, because if it's too
Maybe
slow,
she
you go
heard
down.
you. Maybe she heard you.
No,
Maya, if you can hear us,
it's gonna be
Miranda
interesting.
meant a little bit faster. No, I'm kidding. Maya was really smooth for that first section, then she just looked a little uncertain. And like you said, it's going to take some time to learn that movement.
Exactly.
And I think if we see her get back up there, Maya's so experienced and she's so incredibly strong too. If we can see her find the flow, find the movement, then we're definitely going to see her have some close attempts. And we saw Holly fall on the first move there. I know she's really battling to push through to perform in this round, and it's so cool to see her getting after it.
So let's see now again, Maya, second try. I think, for me, I think that method it's not really helping, because how you are like with the opposite foot doesn't help you to go fast.
So you think she wants her right foot on the black hold and then to jump off that foot, whereas what Maya is doing here, or what Maya was doing here is she had her left foot on, and it did look like she might be able to make that work, stepping round onto that grey volume and throwing her hips around. However, I do think for that method she's going to need to go a lot faster than she is right now. But that was definite progress, and she is learning. However, there is only 1 minute 30 left on the clock.
Maybe this one also is going to be the boulder to do this kind of separation of the athletes. I think it's this boulder that you need to learn fast, and with 1-2 tries, know what you need to do.
And really tactically here, Maya and Holly have clearly spoken. Holly's pushed the holds for Maya, and instead of Holly taking an attempt, Maya's now back on the wall, so they see that as the more successful option there, and we didn't quite see the progress she would have been hoping for on that attempt. She definitely looks like she's carrying a little bit of fatigue from that board session
I think
earlier.
it looks like she's kind of lost.
Honestly, I've climbed with Maya on a board, and she's an absolute weapon, so an easy, not too hard board session for her would have most of us
Let's
ready
see,
for
maybe
bed.
it's like one of the last tries.
Yeah, I don't think she's got much time for another try after this. Maybe one, but I'm hoping she wouldn't need it. I don't think she's quite unlocked the sequence.
I think what she read, what actually looks like, is to the first coordination is going to the underclean and then go to the next hole, but actually it's not the real intention and beta. It's more like with that swing that you generate, you need to jump to the compressed. So that's because when you go to that underclean hole, the black one, you go out of the wall. So actually it's not really helping.
Sorry to jump back in, I just totally forgot that we are working on 4 minutes plus, so she can let that clock tick down. I totally forgot for a moment. I've been commentating on far too many World Cups. So yeah, an old school comps back was competed on the circuit. We used to get 4 minutes plus, which is what we're seeing right now. This is her very final attempt. She doesn't get another one. That was closer. That looked like it could have worked. And I think with another 4 minutes, we might see her send it, but she is not going to get a go at that boulder ever again, unfortunately.
Actually, I saw that system like some all competitions before, and I kind of like it as a spectator. I love it. This 4 minutes plus.
Yeah, I really enjoy it.
Intensity for the public and maybe for the athletes too.
It is, but it's quite tricky when you're behind the wall and someone finds a very good resting position and spends a good 10-15 minutes sat on a volume, and you're wondering if you should take your shoes off.
Like a lit competition, right? It's kind of weird.
Yeah, the timings all get a little bit thrown, but I do very much enjoy seeing that clock count down and the pressure it puts on the athletes to have that one final attempt. Getting a little replay of Maya's attempts here and getting a good look at that crowd who are really, really squeezed in. It's so impressive they fit 600 people.
I mean, maybe in the live stream looks huge, the place, but actually it's like such a small area with plenty of people, such around the world, and it's amazing. I think for all the people who work here in climbing district, it's crazy to see.
Yeah, it's so great to feel that buzz. And Lily and Selma now taking their attempt on Boulder 3, and it's going to be interesting to see who tries this first. Who do you think it's going to be?
I think maybe Lily, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe for that style also she wants to try, but also Selma looks really determined, so let's see. No, I
and both of these athletes have gold medals from their youth circuit, and they're really trying to step it up, and it's so impressive to see the level of the athletes that are coming through, and that was beautifully smooth there through that first move. Different
but actually I was okay that we didn't try like this, but also it's pretty cool. Honestly.
Yeah, it was really cool, and she really knows her strengths.
So maybe she's gonna feel better in that position to create the momentum right now.
So she's going to jump off the right foot, which is not what we saw Maya do.
Yes.
And wow,
that's
close.
crazy that she knew what she needed to do. That's good. That was the idea.
And, you know, Lily is only 18 years old, and as one of the youngest in the competition, I think that it's incredible to see her ability and her kind of maturity in her climbing, you know, to read that straight away. But I do also think there's an element of the youth really kind of training on this style for their entire lives, you know, like doing triples, doing paddles, and it's really become kind of part of their climbing, which is so cool to see. And now we're going to see Selma take her attempt. So smooth.
So smooth,
So easy.
I love that kind of flowing moves and coordinations. It's really, really nice.
Her hips
Let's see if she
absolutely
really
stuck tight to the wall there. And she knows what to do. She saw Lily get super close, so she doesn't have to spend time thinking about what the sequence is. She can just commit. And it's exactly
kind of elegant what they climb. For me, it's really nice to see how smoothly they are climbing.
Yeah, and you can see as soon as she hit the ground, she turned to Lily. They're talking, they're discussing the beta, they're throwing their arms around. They're not dancing, they're discussing which movements they need to take. And I think for both of them, if they can get their hips, I talk about hips a lot in climbing. I talk about hips all the time. So anyone who's listened to me before, where your booty goes, you will go. So yeah, it's all about the hips. If your butt is stuck to the wall, if your hips are tight in, then that will keep you in. And what the athletes are going to need to do is get their hips way over their foot to stay this move.
Yeah, well, it's so nice that you said that.
Hips all the way to the right, and that was a great save as her left leg swung round. But can she finish it? It's not over, and there's 1 minute beat.
It's electric move, but let's see how the.
That is a heartbreaking finish.
That was surprise. That was really surprise. It's really determined an electric move, but it's
out on the mats as we discussed the routes, the boulders earlier with the route setters. I said this last move looks really unforgiving. It looks like it's high risk and quite awkward. You know, you're not in a comfortable position after you've already kind of progressed there. Like, I think, yeah, I'm not surprised we've seen someone fall off there, but I do think that she now has a lot of understanding. I think we'll see Lily take another attempt, and that was so impressive to see. And if she can make it through, I think we'll see her stick it this time. What do you think?
Knowing all the athletes, I think normally after they try one move,
Moment here for Lily. What do you think, Miracle? Is she gonna do it?
I think she's gonna do it. It's like you try once, but now she knows what she needs to do. And
what a reaction! The crowd is going wild for that. That was so impressive for Lily to run the buzzer down, to know that was her final attempt, and keep composed. That's such maturity for an 18-year-old athlete.
I really like Lily, honestly. I remember when I saw her competing in Youth World Champs, I was there also, and it was unbelievable how mature and confident in such a young age. So
it's really a different world in the past kind of 5 to 10 years. I think that we're seeing a new level of athletes emerge because of kind of the development and the progress of the sport, and it's exciting to see where they're going to take it, because I feel like so much progress has been made, but what these athletes can do with another 10 years, I can't imagine. And I must say, I can only expect how difficult that is as a route setter to put that level out there and push the athletes enough but not too much, and kind of really allow them to express their abilities. Yeah, I don't know how route setters do it. I think it's the hardest job of the entire competition, so hats off to all of them.
well, I think it's pretty intense, but also it's like it's really teamwork. So actually it's nice that you can share all of these ideas and decisions, because playing with that high level, you need like a really teamwork and confidence with your colleagues, because as we see, like the level right now in competition, it's crazy, and with that people train really young ages, and when they jump to that level, like World Cups or more senior, it's like insane.
It really is impressive. And now we see Zelia and Maylise out on the mats. And it looks like Zelia is going to take the first attempt for this team.
I think she was really confident to go first. And here we go. I think also like the first boulder also is really the Zelia style. So
What is
I'm really
Zelia's style? I feel like people say that about many different styles for Zelia because she's so strong.
I mean, honestly, in all styles I can see Zelia. It's crazy. Like, but honestly, remember me a lot when Sam also, her brother, climbs really electric and confident and really feeling comfortable in every move. So I think in that boulder also, it's great for her. But now we have Maylise Piazzalunga trying the coordination.
Ooh, a little slip with her hand there. And Maylise has also competed at Boulder World Cup levels, so we expect she'll feel quite comfortable in this terrain. But you know, it is a different environment to have your teammate on the mats and that added pressure to perform and really step up for them. And I think we get to see a different side of the athletes at events like this.
That's really cool. Let's see now if also she struggle as Lily, or maybe she can do it at first try.
Oh, she didn't quite get the height she needed on that attempt. It was so very close, but not quite enough. And impressive learning from her for her to get on that second try and stick that dynamic movement in the midsection.
Let's see now Maylise again. Also, she was pretty close before, so maybe that was close.
It was close, a little disconnected in the movement. I think for a sequence like that, you have to have a sense of flow, and she very much had like hands, feet. There was a bit of disconnect between which limb she was moving at which time, but I think that's something she can correct. However, I expect Zelia will take the next attempt, and with the clock ticking down, I think we won't see many more attempts left, but hopefully we can see Zelia correct her mistake on the final move and get that top.
I think, as you said, like what happened is like that hip move. It was the reason that she missed Maylise, but I think Zelia, she understood completely.
That was so smooth from her. Really great to see her execute that again.
And maybe that was perfect. That's funny.
That was so close. Her fingers were fully extended, hand fully open. Very crazy good finger strength from Zelia there to keep the control.
That's really nice to see the faces of both of them. It's really nice. So now it's missing just two teams, Melody, Saula, and Brooke and Chloe, to finish with boulder number 3.
I think we're seeing some surprised faces in the crowd as well there as these impressive moves are displayed on the wall. Zelia on that top move, there was a little bit of shock in her face as she stuck it, and I did hold my breath for a short moment because it looked like she didn't quite have the height for it, but she did manage to stick it. So yeah, that was great.
So now we have Melody and Saula Lerondel reading the boulder. I like to see the faces that I don't understand nothing, but let's see what we have to do.
I love the matching hair ties as well. The girls really embracing the team spirit.
So we start now with Saula Lejondel. Let's see. That's different method. Oh, that was really close. So let's see now. Melody. That was quite good try from Saula. So I think Melody has all the information to be able to try it and maybe do it at first try.
Yeah, Melody's got a good focus in her eyes here. As you can see, she's looking up, looking down, and really trying to understand what the task ahead is. And she wasn't able to piece it together there, but she did look like she had the right idea.
I think Saula is preparing to try again. I think it was the most closest to be able to do it. So maybe now is the try.
And one thing to remember as these athletes are out here on the mats is that they've seen their fellow competitors come back to isolation happy, elated, joyous. You know, it's quite obvious when athletes come back having topped. So the pressure really mounts up when you're climbing later in the round. And yeah, both Melody and Salma, Melody and Salah will know that the athletes have had successful attempts and that the climb is possible. So they really want to stick it, and Melody really fighting for that, but finding a great flow through that flick across the wall. And can she stick the last hold? She does, really smooth, and great to see her get that on her first try, the last move on her first try.
Really nice try from Melody. That's true what you said, like being an athlete, maybe you can tell from the people if you being like in the area of isolation, this affect really of your performance. If you are hearing that your, well, in that case competitors are topping and maybe you didn't top it, and this really affect on your performance, right?
It can have a really profound effect, yeah, that's for sure. And I think with experience, that's something that you can kind of manage and learn to use to your advantage. You know, you can really use it to hype you up or to kind of compose yourself. I think for me, I always loved it when the boulders were hard. So, you know, if there weren't many tops, you kind of had the opportunity for success. But for Melody here and Sally, they had to really stay composed and keep fighting, knowing that they needed that top if they wanted to stay within podium potential, within kind of looking for the best possible result they can give. So yeah, it's a testament to their abilities for sure to stay composed and to get a top. And you know, it's really piled the pressure on Brooke and Chloe now.
And that's nice because in the end Melody did it, so it's more relief for them, for both of them.
Relief for them, but pressure for these two out here now.
So the last team for fighting in that last Boulder 3. I think maybe Chloe is gonna be the first one to try it because Brooke looks like she's telling what she might do.
Good chants going on in the crowd there for Chloe.
Really, really nice climbing from Chloe. And that was nice. It was nice try. I think it's like the first try to be able to learn from what I need to do, and I guess it was pretty close. So it was nice try.
Yeah, it was a really, really good try. She obviously understood what the concept was, and although she wasn't able to complete it on that try, I think Brooke will have a great idea now. So I think it's often at events like this hard to understand the amount that both members of the team contribute. So even if it's just one athlete getting tops, it's so much about what the other athlete contributes to. And Brooke opting to trying to get a bit more creative here. I thought she would just follow what Chloe had attempted, but she has swapped feet, which we know isn't ideal. And that's not what I was expecting from Brooke. What about you, Maragda?
Me neither. I was expecting like trying like the same beta of Chloe, but looks like maybe she wasn't as comfortable as Chloe, so maybe she wanted to try new things. Actually, we saw that possibility to put the leg above of your head, but doesn't really help for the next move. I think that's why she skipped that intention. Let's see now, Chloe, if she can do this hit work, because I think it's really needed for this move. What you said.
And she's going to opt for the high foot. I'm surprised by this because I did think that she was really close, but this is impressive from Chloe. And she manages to make it work, not what the route setters were expecting. We absolutely love a beta break. Come on, Chloe, finish it off. One hand on the top.
That's
second hand follows.
Huge show for all of us.
And we saw this in the finals last year. Chloe and Brooke really working together. You know, as soon as one of them gets tested and you think that they're starting to struggle, the other member of the team just totally steps up and turns it on. And they finished second last year. They are looking for that gold this year, that's for sure.
All girls are fighting for that. We have like a plenty of teams like fighting and taking this top with them. So let's see for the last Boulder for final for the female. But for me it's crazy how the athletes are using all the resources to get the top with them.
We've just had a quick chat with our sound guys and we're trying to make it as good as possible for you. Thank you for the patience. We are reading the comments. We very much appreciate you.
So here we have like the Boulder number 4. This is our last Boulder for all the females. We have here more physic moves, being precise for going to the first zone. We have like some campus move on the middle transition of the Boulder. And then we have like, we call that Boulder Air France because you need to really commit and jump to the top with a big swing. So it's gonna be quite interesting to see how the girls are determined to go to the top.
Do you expect there are going to be any beta breaks on this boulder?
I don't think so because it's like more basic and powerful moves. There's not a lot of break.
But you thought that on the last one too,
but
so
that's
we will
true.
see.
That's so mean for you.
Maya is pulling on. This is the last boulder of the competition. This lady has done a 20 boulder circuit this morning for qualification, a 2-hour board session, and now she's here fighting hard on the last boulder of finals. Impressive stuff.
Let's see how it's gonna be for Holly.
Wow, this looks incredibly physical and hard.
And actually these holes from unit are quite interesting because it's like slopers and open hand, but how the shape is like not really uniform. It's kind of different. You don't know how to hold it properly. So it's really easy to, when you do like dynamic moves, lose the tension or lose your position. You cannot control really.
And that's
quite
because
interesting.
the good part of the hold is so difficult to see and to realize where it is. And we have
Exactly.
some totally brand new holds in this competition. That's right, isn't it? We've got a great set of holds out there. And what I will say about this competition is that you guys do love the no-techs.
I think it's kind of like our identity. We kind of love to play with this new era, I guess, in competitions, plastic, no plastic. And yeah, as you said, we have a really nice brands and new brands for this edition. We have balls, unit, some squadra. So I think we are really happy to give more experience and pushing also the Boulder problems for the athletes, and maybe for the next editions they want to come back with new things.
It's great to see the evolution of competition climbing, having spent many days of my life on World Cup boulders, and to now be talking about it on the other side of the screen. But I think this new wave of playing with friction and really testing the athletes in different ways, I do like watching it, but I'm quite glad I'm not competing on it, that's for sure.
I think also it's like a big topic of some boulders, like it's food plastic, and I think there's like a lot of different opinions about that. I think as a route setters, it's not like to be mean playing with plastic. I think it's the way to give more different sensations and how to play with the difficulty for the athletes. So I think it's a different resource that you can use, but in my opinion, I like to balance and don't be like in one extreme and the other extreme. I think if you use it properly, it's quite funny, let's say.
It sure is testing the athletes, that's for sure. However, they aren't actually pulling on the no texture sections of the holds here, are they? The pockets that they're throwing to do have some texture, but they're pretty poor holds. And like you said earlier, it's impossible to know from beneath where the good or the best part of the hold is. And I think Holly and Maya are just absolutely exhausted out there right now. We're seeing a bit of a rapid fire go on. They're going to use all their time up, and Maya's going to take that final attempt as the clock ticks down from 10 seconds. But it does look like they're feeling the fatigue at this point.
And doesn't look like... Let's see now. It was close.
I was secretly hoping that last final attempt magic might help Maya up there then, but unfortunately it's not to be as they walk back towards isolation.
So yes, let's see now the next team, if they can manage and get the first zone and continue and of course top it the boulder. And yeah, as you see, I think here the most important thing to get the first zone is to be able to keep the tension and to don't lose your right hand. That's the most important thing, I think, in that particular move. But as I said, that hole is quite interesting because it's not really easy. That's the hard thing, to keep it. So let's see now if the next team can manage. So now we have again Lilia Briat and Selma Mimoun. I think looks like Selma is reading the boulder, so maybe she wants to try it first.
Yeah, and both the athletes here looking so incredibly focused and determined too.
Looks really confident. Let's... That's interesting because I think they are reading that hole that is blocking the black one as an underclimb, but it's not really the intention. Let's see if they can figure it out fast. Exactly. Here we are.
Oh, she is fighting for this. What strength on display on the wall right here.
So strong. So now let's see this final move from Lily. If she is really confident enough.
And this volume on the left is just a foothold. This last move is an explosion out of this awkward position to the last hold, which does look like it's pretty good, but it is so far away we couldn't even see it on the screen there.
Oh, and here we are.
Wow.
That's amazing. That's really huge determination from Lily.
That was absolutely incredible. I'm so glad they're taking a moment to celebrate there, because what a show they just put on.
That was really nice to see, and really nice climbing from Lily. For me, it's unbelievable how confident in that particular move the athletes are, and they are like going with 100% commitment and not fear. It's like, for me, really unbelievable. It's something that you train as an athlete. I'm really curious about that, being as a route setter. If you train to don't have fear while you climb.
I think one of the differences between good climbers and great climbers is often their confidence. And, Lily just displayed that so impressively on that last move in particular. And she's clearly incredibly strong and got a great career ahead of her. I feel like she's only just getting started. But yeah, training to be confident in moves like that is definitely something that is required for successful athletes to be able to go out there and kind of focus solely on the task at hand and be brave is not an easy task at all.
Yeah, I can understand that. Even for me, something that I like to train. So let's see now this team from Zelia Vezu and Maïlis Piazzalunga.
Zelia pulls
So Zelia is going for the first try.
Wow, that was impressive. Straight in, first try. Some incredible shapes being thrown on the wall here.
Huge swing from Zelia.
Really smart climbing from her through that section to understand her body, know exactly what position she needs to be in to make it work. But now, can she keep composed? Looks like she's not going to hang around. She's really just going to go for it. One hand, two hands. That was close, but she made it happen.
Nice.
That last move is really gutsy, but you almost wouldn't know it watching Zelia. She was so confident.
For me, it's really interesting, like some athletes like struggling in one move, and then you see like one super confidence and do it like super easily with a huge swing. It was unbelievable to see this from Zelia. So let's see. I think now depends of if they can do the Boulder for sure from Brooke and Chloe, and how many tries. We will see who is going to win this competition, I guess.
And I mentioned it earlier, but that pressure is really mounting now because they know from the crowd reactions that the last two athletes have flashed, so they really have to keep their composure now.
C'est incroyable, franchement c'est complètement ouf. Solar Mélodie de retour. Et les dernières 4 minutes. 3, 2, 1, go. Franchement vous êtes au top.
Okay, and the show isn't over. It felt like it for a moment there with so much going on, but we still have Melody and Saula to climb. I can't I can't believe it's almost over for the women's round, and we have
It
to
was
do this
pretty
all
fast.
again for the men soon. But before that, we get to see these two athletes really battle it out on this final climb of the day.
Let's see Melody how she figured out the boulder.
Melody is so strong. She doesn't even look
So
like she's
easy.
struggling remotely through that section there. You could see her body was entirely relaxed. She wasn't having to throw her feet above her head. That was so impressive from her, but can she keep it together? She's looking straight for the top. One hand, two hands.
Oh, that's crazy.
Easy. I'm going to put it out there. I expected that the route setters were going to test the athletes a little bit more, and I think there might be some frustration that they wanted a bit
I think,
harder.
of course, for people who are like doubting or asking, that's not the maybe ideal ranking for finals. For sure, I think one of our idea and what we were looking for to compare to other editions is to have more people climbing and maybe with the possibility to get that top, not easily, but playing with maybe the tries and give more show. So we didn't want like a really hard round that maybe like a few teams can do like a lot of tops. So that's why playing with that goal, you can have that kind of results instead of a really hard run, but maybe we cannot see like people climbing a lot and fighting going to the top of all boulders. So yeah, maybe it's like
Can
too
I
much,
ask you, do you think the women in this round are stronger than you expected, or that the boulders are easier than you expected?
I think we have both feelings. Like we have like some boulders that we expect less tops, or more like they need more to learn from the boulder, and some of them for sure like they show us that they have like a way much level.
Okay, thank you for answering. But all
That's
eyes
really
are on
honestly opinion.
the final team as Brooke prepares to take her attempt, and the podium is not yet decided.
I'm not sure who.
I think it's going to be Brooke that takes the first attempt, as she looks like she's setting up. Chloe also chalking up, suggesting that she's ready if Brooke needs her to take a go. Strong for Brooke there, throws her foot up, campusing through.
Really?
Eyes on the next hold already. Matches in. Looking almost effortless for Brooke through that campus section. But this last move is really far.
Let's see now Brooke in that final move. Oh, that was close. That was close.
It was close, and we get to see just how difficult that move is, because it is easy to forget how hard the climbs are out there when the women are making them look so effortless and so easy. But Brooke looked like she didn't quite get the height she needed. She didn't get the power out of her legs. We know Brooke's capable of doing moves like that, so I expect if needed, she can stick that again. But it looks like Chloe's going to take the next attempt, and I think Chloe's got a really good chance of doing this.
I think now, like seeing Brooke doing that try, she knows that she needs to really commit going to the top. So if she arrives to that moment, I think she's gonna crush it for sure.
Chloe there with a great display of strength. Her biceps looking extra strong as she pulls her way through that campus section. She's throwing her body over. I think she's got a knee bar. That might be the biggest foothold I've ever seen in a climbing competition, that long volume on the wall there, only for the foot for this last move. And Chloe's trying hard, if we can get a look at her. She's trying hard to get the setup right, and then we caught her just stick that final hold. And we'll have to wait to see the results, because this one is going to be really quite tight, because it's all coming down to attempts.
I think we need to see like all the calculation with the tries and how many tries they invest to go to the first, second, and to the top. It's quite tough, I think, with the finals.
That was really cool to see Chloe step up after Brooke got so agonizingly close, and I'm really excited to see what the results display, and we'll get a quick look at the last team's attempt. Brooke here moving through this campus section. Such impressive strength from her and stepping her foot across, and then Chloe here, you see her really pushing her body over and trying to get her knee in, and a good focus there on her eyes as she throws up two hands at the same time. Really explosive finish from her. And I do think the crowd like to see a lot of tops, so it's always nice to end a round of a competition on a top. So, although I have to say I'm a little disappointed how many tops there were, and we didn't get to see the athletes fight harder for these podium places, I do like to see it finish on the top.
Yeah, I think we have like a different, maybe people kind of disappointed, or people that really like it to see like all the athletes like topping and fighting and having fun and social. But I think despite of that, I really liked some of the movements of the boulders, and it was quite nice to see like struggling in some of them, commitment, and really like the first boulder, the one shot, it was quite interesting to see this determination in the female. So I'm quite happy, despite of course that ranking that we will see now. It's quite, we are seeing they are separate for the qualification results, I think.
Yeah, so we will be going back to count back, and I'm just going to put it out there, it's an unfortunate score to see up on the board, to have 4 teams join, and I do think they were split across different boulders where they fell, so there is an element of separation coming from that side, but yeah, it's just kind of a display of how hard it is, the job of a route setter to get
Yeah, it's
it right.
quite interesting because now we see like the same result, but if you see all the tries and the way that they got the first zone, the second zone, there's like, they are separate in all the tries, but when you do all the calculation and all the maths, in the end they have unfortunately the same result. So that's why they take into account the qualification round, and that's why we have like the first winners. But yeah, unfortunately, it's not like the result that we expect as a route setters, and it's not something that we want. Like I think the first goal is to have ranking in a competition, right? So
Separation,
this is not like,
is that what you mean there? So the goal would be to have more falls and some unsuccessful attempts, which I think sounds a little bit mean when you say you're hoping people won't do the boulders, or you're hoping people will fall off, but that's all part of competition climbing, although not so much in this round.
Let's see now for men's. Now we have my team of route setters doing all small adjustments to go jump to the male final. We need to change a few things, and also maybe one, it's nice and it's new that we wanted to put here in this edition, is to share some boulders for men and women. And I think it was nice to think about it. So, but we need to do some adjustments.
And for context, the men have been in isolation, so they haven't been watching the female round. So some of these boulders will be almost identical. There'll be some slight changes to make them a little bit different, but the men haven't seen the winning climb, so they are coming out here from isolation on their flash attempts. And speaking about the route setting team, talk to me, who's the head route setter for this competition? What's the setup? How many route setters are there? How long does it take you? That's a lot of questions in one. Let's start with...
I'm going to start with the chief.
Start with the chief.
So here the chief for the competition is Bless. It's taking all of his vision, the overall vision of the competition, but also we divide. Despite of his taking the overall vision, he's also focused for the male round, and then for the female round is Judo, who is also chief, and then actually the team of route setters is huge. We were 4 for the female round working, and another 4 working for the male, and also some other setters that they were helping. So mainly maybe we were 8 to 10 route setters for all final and qualification rounds. So actually it's like a big team. Normally I'm not really used to work with such a big team, but it's quite nice. And also it's nice that all of us, we are working in the gym, so we are colleagues, and we know each other for a lot of years now. So it's quite nice that we can share this special moment. It's really special moment for climbing district, that they put a lot of time, resources, and a lot of, I think, love and passion for our sport to be able to do this kind of event. So I think it's quite nice.
Yeah, the athletes really seem to be content, relaxed, happy, having a great time. And I think, the World Cup circuit is such an arduous task, to be on that circuit, to compete relentlessly for your nation. It adds kind of layers of complexity. But at events like this, we get to see the athletes shine and their personalities come out, and to see who they really are outside of that world, but also while seeing how impressive they are as well, how strong, how capable, how competent. And there's a few times throughout that female finals where you were so shocked by their flexibility and their strength. And I think that's one of the really great things about this event, is we're not only seeing the athletes enjoy themselves, we're seeing them put on an incredible show too. Party scenes down in the crowd as we prepare for the men's final. We've got a cut-out face of Manu Cornu in the crowd in the background that you can see, and everyone having a great time.
I think in a few minutes, the male artist presentation is gonna start. So really nervous, actually. I'm really nervous. Hopefully, what we expect is gonna work now, and we have all of this separation and with all the teams. And that's nice because we are different styles completely with the female round, and it's something really different and new. So also for the people who is watching, it's another round, another ideas on the wall. So hopefully the athletes are gonna enjoy as well.
And talk to me a little bit about those nerves. What are you nervous about? Are you nervous about how they'll get on? If that'll be too easy, too hard? Are you nervous for the climbers? Are you nervous for you? Can you talk to me a bit about those nerves?
Me, in particular, always when I'm nervous before finals or before start the competition, I'm really nervous if, when you put a lot of time, energy, your skin literally, that everything is going to work and what you plan also is going to work. And despite of the results and more officially things, I would love that also athletes are going to have fun and really like it and deserve that they are here and sharing their time doing, that competition and putting their energy, giving this performance. So it's a full mix of emotions. So that's why sometimes I'm really nervous and, it's hard to control that.
Yeah, you really put your hearts on the line as route setters at events like this. I love route setting. It's a passion of mine, but I could never be a competition route setter. I've been route setting for over 2 decades now, for a very long time, but not in competitions. I don't have the ability to put myself out there like that. I think it's such a hard task, and I've got so much respect for route setters. So yeah, very, very impressive work. And we'll see the male team's qualifications. That didn't make any sense. We're going to see the start list for the men. Here's the finalists, the men's teams.
So actually
I'm losing my words already. Still got a whole final.
It's it's crazy. We have it's plenty of French athletes. Unfortunately, we miss another big team. It was also one Japanese athlete that missed finals, and we have one Israeli team.
And just speaking of athletes in this finals, there's some big surprises. We had Isan Leo Evazu, Meiichi Narizaki, And in the women's, we had Karakondi, Georgia Tessio, and so many more that didn't even make it to the final. So it was such a task to even get here, but we get to see our athletes introduced now. And I think the women's final has maybe warmed the crowd up a little bit for hopefully what will be a really good show now. And I loved someone's comment that I just saw in the chat actually that said that they should make the women do the men's boulder round now. And I think they might be able to be honest.
Maybe they can ask about it. You put that in another comment and we will send to the owners.
And on your screen just there was Francois Kaiser, who is returning back to the competition circuit. He was doing Boulder World Cups way back in my day, so he's a kind of a French legend. He's 3 times national boulder champion, but that was over a decade ago. So he's come back to the circuit.
I didn't know that.
Or come back to the competition scene. So yeah, it's going to be great to see how he gets on. And I think him and Manu are both 32 at the oldest in this finals. And yeah, we've got athletes as young as 19, 18 even down here. I think Sam Rich recently turned 18 as well. So yeah, a bit of a broad age gap there.
And here in Clement District, there's a lot of people that are fan of Manu Cornu. I think also for all the history here in France, doing a lot of comps representing, their country, and also I think it's like a good example for the new generations, and a lot of young people also share now a lot of time with Manu. So I think Manu is like a really good reference. And here in Clement District, it's really nice to have again in this edition a Manu Cornu here.
Yeah, we've got 7 French athletes in this round, so I think there's going to be a lot of cheering going on, that's for sure.
It's funny because it's like sometimes in World Cup that some finals you can see but different, like a lot of Japanese athletes in finals, a few of other countries, and of course here we have the opposite, a lot of French and a lot of French from the French team. And I think it's like the first time that we have some Israeli athletes here in finals.
And what they're doing right now, for those of you who didn't catch the start of the women's final, they are having an observation period. So this finals works a lot different to any World Cup you might have seen, and it's a format that is totally unique to me. The first boulder of the final is a knockout, so one of the team has to attempt it. If they fall off, they are done for the round. We could see some of our top climbers who you expect to do well out after the very first boulder. And as you can see here, it's a slight variation on the women's final boulder. It's been tweaked a little bit, but yeah, they are going to get the observation for this boulder, and they will not get it for any of the following boulders. So boulder 2, 3 and 4, they will have just 4 minutes to walk out to it, decide who's climbing, have their attempts. Both of them can climb. But this one, it's a little bit different, and there's just that extra layer of spice.
And I think it's quite funny that the people already seen that boulder from the female, and honestly the changes are quite really small details. Basically, we can say is 80%, 90% the same boulder than the female round. So I think also it's quite interesting to see how the guys are gonna defend and are gonna try that boulder just in one shot.
And let me ask you quickly, with the women doing better than the Route Setting team expected, do you think they'll have made any last-minute panic tweaks to this boulder, or kept it the same?
We were sure that this boulder is gonna be maybe possible all teams can do it. So we were also playing with the same goals than the female. Maybe maximum one team can be out, but we were sure that maybe all teams are gonna go to finals. So we were just expecting maximum one team that for some reasons you can miss the try. But I'm really sure that all the teams are gonna do it.
And a quick recap on the rules. So the first boulder is one single try only. A top would give you 25 points. The next three boulders work on the Paris Olympic format rules. So there are two zones, the first worth 5 points, the second worth 10, and the top worth 25. However, for every failed attempt, you lose 0.1 points. And that's where we hope to get the separation if required. I think I've nailed that. That was a bit better than earlier.
Yeah, it was good. It was
Getting
good.
smoother.
You tried to tell me it was great. It's quite
It's
hard.
been a while since I've had to describe
But this
the
is quite
Paris
hard
Olympic
to remember,
format.
honestly.
It was quite literally commentating at the Paris Olympic Games because this format isn't often used for climbing competitions, and I do like it, and generally it does deliver a good split. Unfortunately not in the women's, but I do enjoy the scoring system and having the two zones and having the 0.1 for like minus 0.1 for the failed attempts. And although it can be a little tricky to figure out the numbers sometimes, I think that it's a fair system that works well. Although what isn't fair is this knockout system. It's so stressful.
It is. So here, as you can see, we have like the same boulder from the female. Just the only change is like the tiny hole before the second zone. It's completely different hole, which it's way worse. So the idea in that move is instead of some girls that match it and go to the big underclean, in that case they need to bump again and commit to the big second zone. So let's see how it's gonna work that particular move from the men's.
And the team that qualified in first place will climb first on this boulder, which again is unusual for a finals. That will change up on the next boulders, but right now on your screen you have got Paul Gempt and Sam Richard. We've got on stage right now an Olympian and an 18-year-old kid who's just climbed a V17 boulder problem. So, you know, we've got a lot of experience out there.
It's insane. And actually she showed in the qualification round the level that he had right now. Like, I think he's really in shape. So I think it's not going to be any problem for him.
He's at the start of his career, but wow, he is definitely in really good shape right now, like you said. And interestingly, not looking super comfortable.
And it's quite interesting to see that method that is not really helping him, and is not gonna help because he needs to turn to the other side. As I said, that hole is different, so just helps to bump again the left. So he needs to be confident.
No! A huge foot slip for Sam there, head in his hands. What just happened? His left foot slid off. What we saw there is he got himself into a spot of bother, and then he wasn't able to keep it together. Ooh, that is a huge surprise. That could see are expected to be the top team, you know, their first team in qualification. Paul putting his thumbs down behind Sam's back.
That was really unexpected for us and for everyone. But actually,
you nearly jumped out of your seat there. You almost landed on my knee.
Because I think it's like the funny thing that we wanted to put, because we saw when you climb for female and you climb with no stress, you are more flowly and they feel like more safe to do like that move with one arm than all the female athletes. But when it's like one shot and you are more stressed, maybe you don't want to commit, I think he started to try new moves that it wasn't the idea, and he failed. So I think it's quite interesting to see when you have to do it in flash, the people who are confident and just do what you need to do, or to try to, I don't know, survive, but it's not really the better.
You know, Sam's such a young athlete as well, and although I said experienced earlier, and I'm not sure if that was the right word, because I think, you know, he's clearly going to learn a lot from that attempt. But on our screens right now, we've got our next team out, and it's already moving on. There is a slim chance that we could still see Sam and Paul in the finals, but we'll have to wait and see. We'll explain that when the time comes. But
So now we have the Israeli team, Adi Bark and Yoni Katz. Let's see who's gonna try.
on the wall, first hands up. I wonder if this has taken the pressure off or piled it on.
So he's doing Yoni Katz trying one shot.
He's looking
Really confident.
so much more comfortable there, isn't he? And I think that was Sam's nerves on display, because right now, Yoni is looking smooth and controlled. A little bubble on that top hold.
Oh,
that was
la, la.
nearly,
Look that face. He was like, no way.
that was nearly over for him, but he managed to keep it together. Fair play.
Well, that I think we're still in shock of what happened with the first team.
A lot of people ask about the knockout boulder. Why is the first boulder a knockout boulder? I asked the exact same question and was met with an answer of pretty much, why not? I think the intensity that it gives to the event and the opportunity to see these climbers really have to tap into something different, something that we so rarely get to witness. I think, yeah, it's a great opportunity, and I'm very much enjoying seeing the athletes, what happens to the athletes under this enormity of pressure.
So now we have another French team, Antoine Girard and Leo Fabot. I think just for the camera, maybe Antoine Girard is gonna be that person to try.
Both these athletes out here looking really quite serious right now. The atmosphere has shifted a little bit, I think.
I don't know, but I think what happened with Sam Richard, I think they are more serious and taking more like, I don't know, that's Boulder, it's something, you know? I need to go 100%. If Sam Richard maybe couldn't be able to do it, that's for some reason.
Now, that was the most controlled we've seen anyone look on that section there. Absolute
really
display
nice climbing.
of strength.
And now Antoine looks comfortable, but not really easy.
Antoine looked on a whole different level there. What strength.
Now they're smiling. Now he's not so serious.
I have to say, Antoine, yes, he looked incredibly strong. I mean, who wouldn't want to be able to do a one-arm lock off and spin around on a hold that is that terrible? But he did look a little bit nervous too, and I wonder if that might ease off now that that knockout boulder's out of the way.
I think, as you said, like you are here in isolation. I think you heard the people. You see also all the faces. You know, one team couldn't be able to do the boulder, so I think it's giving more nervous to the next teams, and who is gonna be in front of the boulder, who is gonna try it, and try to be relaxed and try to climb well and don't do any mistake, because in the end, as we saw, any mistake can be out in final.
Next out, we have...
So now we have Diego Fourbeck and François Keiser. I'm so sorry from the French team, my pronunciation. It's not the best.
It's much better than mine. I apologize. Diego is just 22 years old. Francois, decade older at 32. It'll be Diego that takes the knockout boulder on for this team. Can we see him hold it together and take his team in to the second boulder, or into the rest of the final. It's not even just the second boulder.
Interesting. I don't know why I would say like Francois is gonna try, but
Well, it's looking right now that they made a good choice. A foot slip there, but he does manage to save it. He's tucked up in such a precarious position here, and this move, as we know, is gutsy.
oh, that was close, but
That was close. I absolutely love your reactions, Magda. I love how pure and honest they are, because that was definitely an ooh moment. Woo! The relief that'll be hitting him right now, I think, will be
okay.
something strong to power him on for the rest of the round, that's for sure.
Well, we have a different way to start our men final.
And
that's quite nice.
we've seen 3 tops of this boulder, which does confirm that Sam, Richard, and Paul Gent will not be progressing into the rest of the final round. They were the favourites to win this event. Sam absolutely dominated in the qualification round, putting on a display that I think nobody expected, to be honest.
No one expect that.
But it's not about them anymore, because right now, this guy on your screen, Diego, just confirmed his team will be entering for the rest of the final. And we still have one team to go, and the crowd are beginning to chant. A French legend's name, Manu Cornu, will head out shortly with Sota Amagasa.
Did you hear that? The crowd is crazy to wait from Manu. I think also it's nice because Manu and Sam, they create this kind of rivalry, but really healthy rivalry to each other, and they put like these expectations to the people before that contest. And I think it's quite sad because people wanted these 2 rivals in finals, but unfortunately we don't have Richard and Paul Gent. So let's see if Manu and Sota can enter in finals or maybe out.
Now, Sota is a World Cup gold medalist. We know that he's physically capable of doing this boulder, and we know he can perform under pressure, but he's never had to perform in a knockout round like this, knowing that one of the world's best has fallen off already. It's not slowing him down in the slightest, though. That was elite.
That was really smoothie. Well, so now we know officially our finals and finalists.
I think the people are happy with Sota's top because they want to see Manu climb. And we get our first look at men's too. Maragda, do you want to tell us about this boulder?
So I think we are gonna see our. Now the boulder for men's. It's gonna be quite interesting because it's way different. We didn't set any particular balance or really delicate slab for men's. We create something more electric and something more let's call modern slab. So it's like really electric run jump and stop in a underclean. So I would say it's quite aggressive, but it's more maybe the male style. So I'm quite curious about how it's gonna work this particular boulder for all the female athletes.
I think after that first boulder, it's been really interesting to see how dominant some of the athletes looked, how confident and committed they were, climbing really intuitively. However, we've only seen half of the athletes because their team members will climb too. And I think this format, it allows for so much more expression of a climber's kind of strengths and weaknesses. And although I'm gutted not to see Sam and Paul progress, I am really excited to see what the male teams can do, and I'm very curious to see whether you are going to be able to test them enough, because
so
they're
here we
looking
have
mad
like the
strong.
huge the huge, massive coordination. So here we have different steps. We have like a easy first jump to the first zone to be in the first position to create like the big swing, landing on the big volume, and do like a fast paddle. I think all the team and me particular, I'm really curious to see how they are in this boulder. How are the skills in that coordination particularly? It's quite difficult, I think, to learn it in one try. I think and hopefully they need a few tries to understand the momentum, to understand what they need to do to land well on the volume, to after do really electric in the paddle moves.
Here you go again, hoping these athletes are going to fall off.
Again, yes. I mean, coming from the other round, I think a few falling
falls would
down,
be nice.
it's not bad. It's quite nice.
And the athletes haven't seen these boulders. They do not get an observation period. They walk out onto the mats, and the team of two has 4 minutes to get to the top. 5 points for the first zone, as we see so to secure here. 10 points for the next zone.
That was really nice.
That was smooth. It was nice.
It was
and
really smoothie.
I almost thought he was going to have it on the first try for a moment there. Manu will follow, and the crowd are loving him getting on the wall for the first time in this round. Not as positive an attempt for Manu. Sota looking much smoother through that. I think we'll see him get on for the next try. Looking around for the clock, there is still over 3 minutes on the clock here. It's quite a fast boulder.
I think so. I mean, seeing just the first try of him, it was quite close to do it. I mean, I'm not surprised because in the qualification round, he also with Sam was really good at the coordination boulder for the qualification. He was like really in the flow and with a good position. So for me, it's not surprised that he's really close to do it. I think just he missed to continue, the momentum and to continue with the last move to finish the coordination.
Yeah, and I think here you can see, Manu's 32 years old. He's got 2 bronze World Championships medals to his name, whereas Sota at 25, he's been on the podium this year at World Cups. You kind of expect this to be more his style, as we're sort of seeing here, and that was incredibly close and quite a wild fall as well.
For me, it's crazy also how they learn how to, land well and how to fall in that moves. I think also it's quite interesting to be prepared.
Manu sets up for the swing, and you can see he's really trying to get the momentum with his hips, flicks onto the volume, and that was a much better attempt from him. Great progress.
But it was quite weird to see how they wanted to change method, because I think Sota was in the right beta, trying to cross the left hand, but I think Manu tried something different. I don't know if maybe to cheat or to
Manu tried a different sequence, so he tried to kind of shoulder into the 2 holds after the flick, after the lache, which, to be honest, it looked like it might work, I think he might try that again. Yeah, he does. Not quite getting enough height in the second part of the jump there. After Sota's first attempt, I thought we were going to see him do it really quickly, so I'm a little surprised to see him not progressing further throughout these attempts, but the crowd's getting behind him now. They want to see a top on this.
Oh my God, I think all the people want to see Sota crashing and trying hard now. Let's see. That was almost.
Now talk to me a little bit about this jump. Do you think he needs to... Is he aiming to stick that position that he's falling in, or does he need to go one more handhold to that 10?
I think, as you said, after landing on the big volume, you need to continue the momentum and the flow. And I think Sota, when he take the left hand, is really big the swing that he cannot control the body position.
Opting to try something a little different there, getting creative, playing around a little bit cheeky almost, trying to stop there. It didn't work, but gotta have that attempt, and the clock is ticking down, so I think we'll see Manu have this attempt. Maybe Sota's got enough time to squeeze on, but let's down to the wire.
Let's see the last try. it was funny because the first try it was like the closest one, and now looks like they are worse in the move.
It's unusual to see that as well. Often we see progress and learning and development through the time on the mat. It's unfortunate for Sota. I really thought he was going to have it. You can see they're still looking back at the climb, talking about the beta. They almost look like they want to get back on.
They were also quite surprised, like, that's weird. Something wrong happened. Let's see for the next team. I think also seeing them in qualification, maybe with, these 4 minutes, they can learn, but they weren't really good at the coordination boulder in the qualification. So might be really surprised if they can manage, but let's see.
And let's talk a little bit about that, because we've had some comments in the chat about how this is very new school style setting. Is that intentional? Are we moving away from any old school kind of basic crimpling or technical kind of like old school climbing? Is that something that was kind of within the brief for this set, or is it kind of naturally occurred?
That's a nice question, because I think depending of the goal of normally the responsible, so the chief of the competition normally like to share the idea of what he or she wants for the comp. So basically determine the styles. And I think, at least me, I like when the people open, that box of that boulder, maybe more old school, so more pure climbing and less, maybe let's call parkour style. But I think here we like the idea of putting all styles, and I think we saw this in the qualification route, basically.
Thanks for sharing, and it was great to see Sam and Paul sat at the side there cheering their fellow athletes on, and so we welcome our next team onto the mats.
So looks like maybe Francois is gonna try the boulder first. Actually, he was quite better in the other boulder, so in the qualifications, I mean. So maybe he also is gonna be quite comfortable.
His 10-year hiatus,
well, maybe not.
10+ year hiatus from competition climbing, maybe showing a little bit there, but with the experience that he has, we might see him make some progress through learning on this as we see Diego take his first attempt.
That was better. I think it was better the way that he landed on the volume to generate the second momentum. I think it's quite important. It's a lot of things in one moment that you need to, for me, it's what I try to learn this. It's like to connect, like the legs, the hands, and be coordinated. It's quite hard. And I think here we have all of these things happening in 1 second.
Yeah, it's incredibly complex, this boulder, and I have to say this style is pretty much why I quit competition climbing. I enjoy watching it, but it isn't my favourite to climb on. So again, I think with route setting, I very much enjoy it, but testing, you have to test everything, you have to get involved, right? So it's all about creating a great show, a great time for the athletes, and also testing them in so many different ways. And we are seeing kind of the new school step up to a whole new level, and the complexity of the movements is really fascinating.
For me, what I like is to see how sometimes the old school is coming back in comps, and how the modern also is influenced by the old school. So I think it's quite cool when you try to combine both things and see how far you can go. Because now sometimes when you do like a crazy coordination, sometimes it's like crazy to challenge the athletes and do like a double paddle, land in something, double paddle. I think sometimes it's too far. But it's quite nice to see. I think also for the show, it's unbelievable to see how they can do all of these things in 1 second and be like coordinated. For me,
and just a little bit about this team. So we know of Francois' kind of previous history in the competition world, although it was some time ago. But Diego, I couldn't find anything about him in the bouldering world. I know he's had some success at international competition in lead, but for this team to get to this point at the event, I'm going to put it out there and say I don't think they expected to even be in this final. So what a cool experience for them.
For me, it's really nice to see this kind of maybe people who compete before, train before, and now they go to one competition and they are in the same level, I guess, maybe before. They are like...
They're placing higher than World Cup winners, than athletes that are competing on the circuit this year. You know, we've seen some massive names not make it into this round. Olympians.
That's crazy. And I think here in France we have a lot of high level and people that stop competing and still climbing, and then if they maybe wanted to compete again, then we have again like really top athletes competing. It's insane. I think it's really insane.
And even getting onto the French team is quite a big ask. It's an incredibly difficult task to get onto the team, let alone then be selected to compete. So yeah, it's an impressive nation when it comes to climbing, that's for sure, as Diego takes the last and final attempt.
Unfortunately couldn't make it.
It's nice to see them smiling, but I don't think they enjoyed that. I'm going to put
They
that
were
out
kind of
there.
frustrated, I guess.
I'm not even sure they were frustrated. I just don't think they wanted to be on that boulder. But hey, it's done. They've got 2 more to go, so it's fine, guys.
At least they have like more boulders. If it would be the last one, that would be maybe so frustrating to finish with that feeling.
What's fascinating is, you know, we're seeing them try here, but they will carry the same score as Manu and Sota, because although Manu and Sota made more progress on the climb, they didn't secure the 10 zone. So actually, not a bad attempt for them really at all, in terms of numbers.
That's true. But I would like to see someone top it. I would like to see someone that can reach.
Do you think when you were setting for this, there was an element of notion towards how strong Sam was and setting towards that level and where he's at? Or now Sam's out, are you more concerned or not so much? Because he did dominate the qualification round, didn't he? And I know I'm bringing him up a lot, but he really did. So I'm always curious if there's athletes in mind, but the athletes that we should have in mind are the ones on the screen right now as we see our next team attempting this utterly ridiculous coordination dyno. I feel like that's fair to say at this point. Ridiculous in a good way, if someone does it.
I would take it in a good way.
Yeah.
No, but that's interesting. I think in that coordination, you need to really feel that hole, which it's really important to be succeed to continue climbing. So for sure, we didn't expect like maybe as the other team, like they even couldn't feel it to continue. Hopefully Leo and Antoine, they can, you know, with a few tries maybe manage to how you need to hold it to continue the properly coordination. So I mean, hopefully, and maybe also the conditions like after the qualification, it's like less keen, less like good conditions and friction. But I think it's
both of the athletes on screen have got medals at European level bouldering competitions, and that was close to a beta break there. Do you think that hold in the middle is possible to stop on?
That was like the huge conversation with all team and the people who really
I kind of hope it is, because then we might see someone
percentage. We put a percentage. I think we said it's kind of possible. It is, but it's like insane hard to do it. So we took that risk, and we said like 90% they are not gonna stop on the first hole, which looks like they cannot.
Okay. We need to get the women on these boulders.
That would be great. We can follow the run. Maybe they deserve next time.
I feel like they deserve to be tested. Get them on these boulders and show the boys how it's done. That was wild. Did you see that? Do you think that's possible? Could you skip the whole coordination sequence and jump straight to the 10?
I think to stop that, it's kind of, I don't like to say impossible in climbing, but it's
it looks more possible in the coordination.
That's why I don't want to say impossible.
Did the route setters stick this, or are they putting concepts on the wall? How strong are the route setters? Are they able to test?
Of course, I think with a team like there's a lot of a lot of setters here that they have like the skills and they have like the level to try it. So of course the coordination it's try. Of course, like you try if you cannot connect all moves, it's try for some sequence and you feel it. And of course you if you feel you can stop it, we try properly to stop and to feel if you can stop in the first one, the second one. Try to connect and see there's like broken beta or all of this. I think it's quite hard when you want to push this kind of style, coordination, and do like a crazy paddle and to test properly if there's like some ways to stop it and cheat it.
And that was very, very close to being a cheat. And when we say cheat, we don't mean they're doing something wrong. Cheating the beta is just doing a beta or a method that wasn't intended. And, I think if we had a few more attempts, that could have gone. There was a definite pause.
That's crazy. I think that way of skip it, we didn't see it or try it because I think here it doesn't look, but it's quite far, that shoulder, which doesn't, I'm not sure if someone is gonna try it. Of course, that boulder is tested and is try it and the setters can try it. I think I saw some question here in the YouTube, but connect it and try it all the way. It's another game. That's why it's just for the athletes.
Oh, that was so close to that method. I really want to see him try again, but I don't get to. We're on to the next team.
So I'm really, how I can say, I really trust that team with that boulder because we saw them in the coordination, the same in the qualification round, and they were really good with that boulder. So I think if we have some possibility to top it, is them.
That was much slower and much more controlled through those movements.
I think the only mistake it was he read it again as Manu, shoulder, instead of doing the right sequence. So maybe if
you saw that in his face as well. So as soon as he hit the ground, he turned to his partner and said, "Not that way. Try this," or some version of that. So we'll see. A bit of a slip there. I was really hoping we'd get to see something special, and I was braced for it, but maybe on this attempt.
Okay, let's see if he can read it properly, the boulder. Ale. That's kind of weird. I think he's not finding the right swing. Where?
Yeah, he's not really finding his rhythm. Interesting to see from Adi there. On his first attempt, I was curious about his hip swing because it didn't look right. It didn't look like he was finding the right flow, but he seemed to make it work regardless. And it almost looked to me like that's exactly what happened. It was almost accidental. And I know it's possible for him to do this for sure, but only if he can find that rhythm. We've got such a young team on the mats. Adi is 20. He's made semi-finals at a Boulder World Cup. Yoni just 19. He's made finals at Youth European Championships. So they do have some experience, but they're just on the start of their journeys. They're not regular World Cup finalists. So performing in an environment like this might not be the most familiar kind of place for them to be. So it's great experience for them, but you can see he's really struggling to gain enough momentum with his hip swing. His hips need to be swinging in the right direction at the right intensity for him to get enough push to the right, but he's just coming up a bit short there.
But it's quite interesting how while they are doing more tries, they are getting worse generating the right momentum and rhythm from the boulder, because the first try it was way better.
Yeah, and that try was actually a lot better in his swing, but not powerful enough. So he found a much smoother swing and a really good trajectory, but he didn't put enough power behind his hips. He needs to really flick his hips into the wall to hit that volume with lots of power to get the swing, and that was better there. He's finding it. You could see in his eyes and his body language he was psyched all of a sudden, but unfortunately there's only 30 seconds left on the clock. Not enough swing.
That was really out.
Yeah, I think the position of his hips could work, but he just needs to go way harder, and the clock's ticking down. I hope they know it's 4+, so they don't actually have to rush to get back.
My skin is really sweating.
You can have a little breath. Not enough. Come on, guys.
Unfortunately,
go harder.
Maybe we miss here some top. That was close. I'm really sad because there were like some athletes quite close to understand what they need to do.
And this is our last team. This is our last opportunity for a top, last attempt. Unfortunately, it's not to be. Oh, I'm gutted we didn't get to see that. I would have loved to see the top of the boulder, and it's just such fine margins to get the level and the difficulty perfect.
Well, that was a nice show, but unfortunately, it couldn't be real. Well, that's part of the game, I think. Well, as I said, now we have another electric boulder. So I think this one, it was nice to warm up, I guess.
Well, we said it was a lot of new school climbing, so we may as well continue with the theme. We'll see another electric boulder. Someone in the chat said if Sota didn't do it, nobody will, and you were right. We get to see the results there. We have 30 points and 4 teams tied in first position as it stands right now. We do expect that will change because we do have 2 boulders left to go, and we are hoping that these boulders are primed and ready to test our athletes and get the separation we all want to see.
So here we have the boulder number 3. And as I said, it's not like the normal standards of slab or technical. It's more electric slab.
And can you explain what electric means? Because I feel like so many people have a different interpretation to that, and I love asking this question.
And there's a lot of ways. Actually, a friend in Spain asked to a lot of national setters what was that particular word and what's the meaning, and everyone, they have their own interpretations of that word, because it's kind of difficulty. For me, electric is when you need to react and activate your body, or electric that you need to stop your body and be like strong on your movement. And I think here for me, electric is because you need to suddenly use your legs, and from 0 energy to 100% energy, go into the second zone, the number 10.
Manu is on the wall. We get our first look at boulder 3. So I thought Soja was going to brush it while he was on it for a moment there. In Manu, we trust, someone has written in the comments. Unfortunately, a little slip there for him, but if you are listening and joining in on the comments, do let us know what you think the definition of electric is or should be. I'm curious because I feel like everybody has a different definition, and it is in the Route Setter handbook for combined events. They have to set an electric boulder, and it is definitely open to interpretation. But this boulder looking quite technical in the footwork to me, and I know you said it's electric. Are we expecting them to jump out to the 10?
It's electric, but you need to still be able to coordinate your body and also to trust, these kind of slippery volumes. So I think, as Manu already seen, you need to change, the position of your body, run in all of these volumes, and catch this underclean, the number 10. So yeah, I think, as you mentioned, it's electric, but electric using a lot of technique in your foot. So it's quite...
Manu was close on his last attempt. I'm not surprised he stuck that there. That was smooth from Manu. This is a Manu boulder if ever I saw one. We've seen this guy perform on the biggest of stages and really put a performance down when it counts, but can he do it here?
So here we have like the kind of tricky end. It's interesting because it's really tense. The hands are not good, the feet are not good. So you need to really, when you are not breathing and you are like every move controlling and really focus. I think this ending is to continue focus on the boulder, which is cool, I think.
And
it's not
Sota
end.
following Manu there, really learning from each other's attempts. And can he put it down? It looks like he's going to give a really good fight. He's got the foot swap, which Manu didn't make, but this boulder really isn't over until it's over. That's quite a tricky finish up there, isn't it? Have you tried those moves?
We try. For males, I try a few things, not everything, and I think because actually there's too many boulders and we were like trying to be more focused. So yeah, here when we were, and I was in the other teammates trying this sequence. It was not easy. It was every move. It was like it's giving an extra. It's tiring, and it's not done. It's not done until you match the last hole.
Interesting that Manu's struggling to repeat that middle section. I'm a little surprised by that, and I think it's just the pressure mounting there a little bit because he's very much capable. Sota stepping up, and this top section, to me, it looks like you need to be subtle but also snappy, kind of like a weird combination of abilities required to get that top. And French setting legend Jackie Godot in the crowd there, was he part of the team or was he just here to watch?
No, I think he was like with the athletes a few days ago, going to Fontainebleau and sharing a nice time climbing outside.
He's a great tour guide to have him fun, hey?
I'm really fan of Jackie. I mean, I think as a route setter, is like one of the big visionary and in climbing communities. Like,
he sure looked to be having a good time watching this show. And both Manu and Sota have that top hold in their sights, but can they make it happen? This will be
Hopefully.
the final attempt. There will not be time for Sota to get back on. Can Manu make it work for his team?
No.
A big foot slip sees him slide down and hit the mat. Unfortunately, it's not to be for them, but that was agonizingly close.
that was so close, but it was nice. It was a nice show.
Someone said in the chat that electric is exactly what the boys are doing right now. Someone else has said that they think it's when quick movements are required. So, yeah, I love that. It's a great way to describe the climbing and the style, but there's just so many different interpretations of what that means. And I think you've nailed it on that one. Electric for sure.
Yes, I think, as you said, it's like, and also like in general, like it's really different way to see the styles. I mean, for me, maybe balance means another thing. Maybe power for me means another thing. And I think here the interpretation of electric also can be like really different for everyone. But I think here, as all people and of all common said, electric is that particular move. You need like to activate yourself and catch this second hold and stop it. So
yeah, I really like this boulder. It's so fun to watch the problem solving throughout the start, and I do really hope we get to see someone unlock this finishing sequence. Is the foothold they were slipping off, is that textured? Is there texture on there, or is that a no-text foothold? Do you know?
there's one hole in the middle of the sequence that it's full plastic, and the rest of the holes are really sloppy and really bad to hold. Oh, that was unexpected.
He's up. He looks like he's okay. Got a brush in his hand, and we're good to go again. Francois not looking best pleased with that crimp in the start position, but correcting his movements for his second attempt.
Really nice job from Francois. Let's see if he can manage.
I think both of these climbers are capable of sticking this first move for sure. It's just that it's an unfamiliar movement to do if you're not in the rhythm of competition climbing, right? Like this is something that you don't often come across when climbing at the gym because it's much more specific to that competition arena. Is this a move you've set at the gym?
I like it, but it's not like my main favorite style to set. I like to climb it, but I like another kind of maybe balance or different moves, I would say. But honestly, to climb, it's quite funny.
Oh, big foot slip there from Francois, unfortunately.
I think they didn't read as Manu and Sota to be fast and
much more dynamic and quicker
Exactly.
and big pushes off the feet. Yeah, they're going a lot more tentatively.
Let's see if he can really trust these slippery volumes and be able to get the second zone.
His setup's totally different this time and he's going a lot faster. That looked much better, but with only a minute left on the clock, I'm not sure it's enough time to unlock the sequence, but I do hope it is. I'm curious if Diego will follow suit and go for the more dynamic method. And he does, and that was so close.
I mean, they have time. I mean, in 1 minute. But still the second part of the volume, the volume, not the Boulder, still the second part, which is something.
But it would give them the vital 10 points, which is very significant in a round like this. Oh, painfully close. Just not quite close enough to the wall, not enough pressure through his hand and his foot.
He was so excited, like, yes, but no. Hopefully now.
Come on, Diego, we want to see you get this 10. Ah!
Still 4 minutes plus, you can.
Will it be a buzzer beater for the second zone? Will we see a top? We won't know until he goes for it. Oh. That feeling is so hard to describe when you're walking away from a boulder, having had the hold in your hand, but not quite being able to control it. Oh, it's bittersweet because there's an element of pride that you were that close, but then the devastation of having to walk away and never try it again.
And you could see it in his face. He was like really happy and excited, but in the last moment he realized that he couldn't do it and he was like frustrated. And I think they knew that they could do it. It was just to find the right way to climb it and do it.
And the athletes are walking back into isolation, chatting to one another, talking about their attempts, talking to the athletes who've already climbed. I don't think they're giving anything away to the athletes still yet to climb, but it's really nice to see how passionate they are because they're not talking about what's to come. They're talking about the boulder they've just been on, how close they got, and they clearly don't want to let it go just yet, but right now we have our next team running out onto the mats for boulder number 3.
So now we have Antoine Girard and Léo Fabot. Let's see how they can manage. I think also it's this kind of boulder that as an athlete you train a lot and you are, I would say, used to do it. this kind of fast moving, slippery volumes, and
If you're an athlete training for the World Cup circuit, that is.
I guess so.
Because our last rotation, I'm not quite sure we can say they train dynamic a lot, but
Maybe
but-
that's why the difference, and hopefully we can see that.
But these two out on the mats have been competing this year at European and Boulder World Cup events. Leo placing 13th in the Boulder World Cup in China, Antoine 2nd and 4th at the European Cups this year. So we expect they've got a bit more experience when it comes to hopping and popping and jumping along volumes.
I think Antoine was surprised. Didn't understand well what he needs to do. I think maybe Leo now with Antoine's try, he knows better.
And it's so hard to see from here. Is it possible to go slow? Can you stand on that middle volume without your hands? Or is it just...
It's just really, really... The angle, maybe it's not possible to appreciate, but the angle is really bad that you cannot stand. And actually that small foot, when Manu tries, nothing, because it's like in the bad position. So even you cannot hold it to try even, like properly balance and footwork in volume. So you really need to commit and be fast, which otherwise I think you cannot do.
Yeah, thanks for explaining, because it's hard to understand the depth and get some perspective on just how poor those volumes are.
I think that was close, but but still.
Yeah, it didn't look close, but I know what you mean. I think if he's able to get his movement a little more aggressive so that he gets his weight shifted over to the right more, he can stick that with that method. It looks like a harder method, though, than running the feet across, but there are no points for style here. There are no points for doing the intended beta. It's all about getting control of the zone and getting up to that top hold. We are seeing the static slow method, but he quickly retreated back, and we'll see him pop. Just looking a little disconnected there, like they're not certain of the movement, and you can see that on the mats because they're talking, because they're kind of showing the different movements. They're really having to figure it out, and they're not seeming confident in which method it is that they want to go for.
I think sometimes a big mistake if you can do it or cannot do. I mean, it's just climbing. At the end, it's like depending on the method that you decided in that moment, maybe you cannot do. And then when you realize, oh, maybe it was that way, and then you can do. And I think here in that boulder particularly is if you just are focused to hold the zone, you are just focused to reach this underclean, you are losing the things that you need to do before and are important, because if you cannot do this footwork fast, good, and jump in a good position, you cannot do it.
Oh my goodness, they couldn't be closer. They've had that hold in their hand so many times. 10 points slipping through their fingers every single time they don't hold it.
That was so bad.
I think it's just getting to them, like you can see the pressure mounting, that they know it's possible, but this will be the final attempt for this team on the boulder.
Let's see now, Antoine. That was better, but still. I think honestly maybe they were more focused to jump directly to the zone, that they were losing, what they need to do before. They were close, but because I think Manu and Sota, when they learned and tried this electric move, they were like really smooth in the end, and it was quite easy for them.
Yeah, they looked so agile as they moved across, but we did see them fall on that move after sticking it, so we know it's not a given. And we get another look here, and I'm gutted for them, because they both know it's possible. You can see that they're capable of sticking that move, but it just isn't to be. And 4 minutes really isn't very long when you're out on the mats having a tough time. Yeah. Sometimes 4 minutes can feel like a really long time when you're not getting off the start, but on a move like that, it really goes by all too fast.
Actually, I cannot imagine myself. Imagine you cannot do something. 4 minutes looks like long time waiting and expecting that maybe. But also can be the opposite. Like you are really close, and maybe you put like another minute because you already learned it, but it was too late. So now we have the Israeli team again, Adi Bark and Yoni. Yoni, the first to try.
Very close on his first attempt there. Such confidence moving through that midsection. Very little hesitation too. A little bit more precision. I think we'll see him stick that 10, but can his teammate follow suit and do a good attempt too? Very different approach there. Much slower, much more static, and quite a lot further away.
I think that all the crowd wants to see some tops now for the main rounds. Hopefully now they can learn it fast and be able to do it. It was really sad because Manu and Sota, I think they were like more comfortable in that boulder problem, but let's see now.
Yeah, this is our final team on this boulder, so we would love to see them fighting hard for a top. If they can piece together this midsection, we'll definitely get to see them on the very top of the wall, but it's not looking positive right now. And you know, the crowd want to see it, the route setters want to see it, we want to see it. Come on, guys.
Hopefully I think it's not really comfortable in the first bullion that he really wanted to jump one leg, but it's quite powerful if you want to double bump just with one leg. I think it's even more powerful the way that Gioni is trying to do, instead of jump and use with both feet, as we saw with Manu and Sota. I think with one leg it's more risky because you can slip faster. But
1 minute 30, we get a good look at that 5 zone. Such a terrible hold, and both of our athletes out on the mats really seeming to understand what's required of them, but not quite being able to piece it together, unfortunately.
That was close!
I was so close! My hands were in the air, I was ready to celebrate, but it was ripped away from him all too soon.
Another way, but looks like it's the best for him, so hopefully now he knows what he needs to do. I think we really want to see it, but that's so sad. It's almost there.
We've got a lot of our female finalists down right at the front cheering these guys on. They want to see a top two. I want to see them on this boulder. I know I've said that about the last one, but I'd be curious.
20 seconds left. That was unbelievable.
He's waving at his teammate to get on. Come on. Can Adi and Yoni make this happen?
So last try for this team. No!
Wow, that was so close.
That was close. Not enough, but it was nice. At least they learned it and they were like closer and closer, but still.
Yeah, there was very definite progress throughout their rotation, and you can see the disappointment in their faces, especially. Well, actually, now you can see them looking at what's to come, and I think the focus has maybe shifted. But especially getting that close and knowing, like being 100% sure that it's possible for you, and having to walk away, it's a hard thing to do. And they still have one more boulder to go. So let's not forget they've got to walk back into the isolation zone, as they have done just right in front of us. And they might spend some time discussing the boulder, but they also need to refocus, recalibrate, and get ready for what's to come, because it's not over yet. And we've got kind of a really tied round again with Manu and Sota gaining the 10 and the others not, but it's not over yet, so they're still playing for a podium.
Let's see now how it's gonna end. Of course, this zone, it gives, I think, the first place to Manu Cornu and Sota. It was really nice performance, because they have this advantage, let's say, for the last boulder. But as you said, it's not end. Depends of what's gonna happen now. We will see the winner. So here we have like the first one shot of the female, but we modified the boulder slightly for the men to finish these finals. So we have kind of like the same moves, like we have this commitment, but it's slightly blocked, so you need to be more precise. And then here it's more, when you do the swing, the reception, it's pretty sloppy and bad. And we expect a small coordination to fall in here and go into the second zone. And after, like, the same commitment as the female. Hopefully this plastic hole, it's not so bad for them. and let's see. So we are gonna start with Manu.
Yeah, Manu and Sota will be the first team out. We don't know yet who is going to climb, but we can see here they are in first position as it stands. If they can secure a top, they will guarantee a win, as no one will be able to overtake them in points. If they aren't able to do that, then the first place is still to play for. But if they do top and we know our winner, we still don't know who's going to be in second or third, because we do have a tie for those spots right now. So it really is all coming down to this last boulder to decide the finalists.
So here we are with Manu and Sota. That's funny that they are like smiling in front of the boulder. Maybe they like the style or the proposition, I guess.
It sure looked like it, didn't it? It looked like they were excited and ready for it.
This is like also really, for me, interesting as an athlete. Sometimes if you don't like the boulder, but you know that you need to do it. Oh, that's
so
crazy!
fast.
Sorry, that also could be electric performance, because it was in 1 second.
And there it is. First place for Manu Cornu and Sota Amagasa.
Dominated.
Wow. I'm not even sure I know what just happened. I think I blinked and quite literally missed it. Manu's going to give it a go too. Because why not?
Why not? Oh, that's... Bon.
One thing I'm absolutely loving here, Sota giving it a brush for the next competitors. Sam standing up, holding Manu's hand in the air. Such camaraderie among those competitors. I absolutely adore the fact that Sota's just stood there and brushed it for the next team to come out. Look at him, he's really going for it as well.
That's so sweet.
Isn't it adorable?
I'm still like unbelievable what happened. I was like just chilling, and I was expecting like more spending time, to decide who's gonna climb. And suddenly Sota was already there in the top of the of the boulder. It was quite fast.
Came out
to
of
finish
nowhere.
the performances here in TVN climbing district.
Wow, such a fun way to win. Both of them putting on a good performance. A little slip from Manu as he tried to follow his teammate up, but he did not need to stop. They were just doing it for fun, and yeah, I think the crowd needed that.
Yeah, I think so. So now we have Diego Fourbet and Francois. Let's see how they can also manage. If they can also flash as Sota, or they are gonna struggle going to that big slope on the right side. So here we have Francois.
And like we said earlier, the gold medal is now secured, the first position, but the podium is still to play for. We don't yet know who's going to be in second and third, so every team from now on will be fighting for that.
That's crazy. So,
and we're going to see another flash.
That's really crazy. That's really nice. Like, of course,
we're going to get to see Diego climb too, and why not, hey?
let's double top.
Made it look very, very smooth there. Smiles from them. A few grimaces
I think here
too.
that style, no, that kind of type of sloper and that kind of movement here, they're really used to and pretty comfortable. Look like really comfortable in that moves and Boulder problem. So
and really cool to see Francois back in a big event as well, like having been the French Boulder champion 3 times and won a bronze medal at a Boulder World Cup back in 2011. Absolutely crazy. I think he needs to get back to the French championships, do you?
I think they are really good shape. I don't know why they wanted to stop. Maybe also I think outside it's pretty nice ambient to spend your time.
Yeah,
so
and Diego,
I
mean, Diego's only 22 and we know he's had some success at lead events, so it'd be great to see him at more Boulder events, but we'll now welcome our third team on this Boulder.
Let's see what they can do, Antoine Girard and Leo Favot, if they can. I mean, I can see with all of these, with the rest of the teams doing the Boulder, maybe also it's not really, really half of them.
Antoine and Leo were so close on that last Boulder, though. I just hope they've been able to let go of their kind of disappointment and just coming to this climb focused and ready. And they know it's possible. They've heard the crowd go wild, but they still need to do it to stay in with a chance of that podium.
I think, honestly, without maybe the last performances that they were really close to manage, they are going to give like the 100% for this one. They knew it's possible, I think.
Ooh,
also.
But that was a slip.
Well, this try counts.
His foot left the ground. That try counts. That is going to be significant. That means that this is not his flash attempt. If the judge spotted the fact that his foot slipped and the big hand slip too.
I mean, this is like another part of that game, because it's not fair when you see someone doing that flash or really easy and looks like, oh, that's easy move. But I mean, that level, if you tried, of course, it's not easy. Like maybe the performances of the level of X athlete, it's like insane. But it's not easy move. Like you can do a mistake or you can miss it. It's
Easy is a very relative term, isn't it?
exactly.
And we are getting a demonstration right now of just how difficult this boulder is. Because, like you said, the athletes previous have kind of floated up there with like a lot of simplicity almost, but we're getting to see now that it's really not the case, and this boulder is incredibly difficult.
Let's see now if he can manage the good position with the frog and the last compress. Okay, that's good for Antoine.
Great performance from Antoine.
They
Cool
look
to see them.
satisfied, but maybe also kind of frustrated to don't be able to do it fast. I think they realize that. That's why maybe their faces.
Yeah, and I think it is a hard round when you don't feel like you've been able to express yourself to your best ability on the climbs. And I mean, I've said time and time again that I think the route setters have the hardest job out there. But as an athlete, when you feel frustrated that you didn't get to display your best ability, yeah, I think you could see that in their faces there too.
I think so, and maybe more for this final that maybe that here the tries, or if you are able to do it at flash or not, counts a lot. So that's why maybe you can be even more frustrated that that maybe it's easy boulder, you need to do flash.
Yeah.
And you know that you can do it, but maybe
And
the
that's
nervous,
part of
it's
competition
hard.
climbing. That is part of it, staying focused, staying secure, and performing when it counts is the moment. But right now we've got our last team on our last boulder of this finals. TBA 4 is almost over, but it's not quite yet because this team could still make the podium.
So let's see. It was pretty fast in the end. Now we are here, like almost done.
The music is ramping up, the party is getting started, but all eyes as Yoni pulls on.
Let's see, Adi. Easy first move.
Ooh, big slip there. I think he
Almost.
just missed.
I think it
The
means
good
I think
position.
it looks like he didn't arrive well, so maybe he need to push more to arrive better to land over the big slopey. Maybe it's as you said, like the swing it wasn't enough to
His-
arrive well.
Yeah, his body position didn't look quite where I wanted it to be, but let's see what his teammate can do.
I think he knows well what he needs to do.
Ooh, a big
He-
correction for him in the hands there, but he made it work.
Let's see now if he struggle or he can fit well. Looks like he's comfortable. Maybe he can. That's it.
Shake of the head, I think.
Happy but frustrated. Like we have these both feelings with all of these athletes. That's quite nice to see. Well,
Yeah, you see those smiles, waving at the crowd. Maybe not the ending we were all hoping for, but still, like I said earlier, it is nice to end on the top. And we've definitely seen the athletes tested in many different ways. And I think for a lot of the climbers, they're young climbers, both the male and the female athletes. There's a lot of young climbers who are going to have learned so much from this event.
boy, that was nice to see. It was nice to see all the performances. I think it was like a mix of feelings to have up and downs during both finals. I think we just hope that people like it. Some of the moments of during these finals.
And they'll be setting up for the podiums. It wasn't just the glory on the line here. There's cash prizes too, and lots going on. I'm amazed at the fact that there were 145 teams that competed in this event. There's clearly such an appetite for this style of competition. We get to see here the final results for the men. Manu and Sota taking the win. Francois Kaiser and his teammate Diego Forbe in second. And we've got Adi Bark and Yoni Katz in third, with very close scores between second, third and fourth, but they are split. We do have a split. And, you know, Manu and Sota took quite a convincing win there, I'd say, as well.
I think they deserve. I mean, despite of the results, they demonstrate that they were really close to top also the third boulder problem. So I think that winning, it's really worth it and deserves. And after, some teams they were close also to do the same, but we lose them in that boulder problem. But despite of that, I think it was nice. It's a nice show and nice performances for all of them.
Yeah, you know, the crowd clearly loved it. They were really getting behind all of the athletes. It definitely felt like a party in here tonight, and
yeah, it's gonna be after. They organize like a really well competition here, but also the after party also is quite nice. So we encourage all of you to stay around here.
For the 600 lucky spectators that were able to squeeze into this hall, they got to see some of the strongest climbers in the world showcasing their abilities on this wall tonight. And the biggest shock of the round was that foot slip from Sam, wasn't it?
I would say that was the moment of final. I think even if it's not climbing, I think, and no one expect that situation of Sam Fitchat.
It really just proves that, you know, these top athletes are human. They do make mistakes. They can go and climb 9A boulders. They can do a 9A deep water solo and win World Cups and do all of these things, but they can also have a foot slip. It's in the moment of need when the pressure just gets too much, and I think that's the beauty of competition climbing, is we get to see these athletes push themselves to their limits right in front of our eyes. And having spent so much time on the circuit, you know, I competed in the World Cup circuit for over a decade, won some World Cups, won a lot of podiums, and it's so easy to sit here and watch on the screen and for things to look easy and to kind of have an opinion on what the athletes are doing. But when you're out there on that mat, it is absolutely grueling at times. And then to be in an event like this where you have that added pressure of performing for your teammate and you want to kind of give your best self on every single attempt. And yeah, of course you do when you're in a World Cup, but there's no one stood right there kind of cheering you on and helping you out. And as beautiful and lovely as that is, I do think it adds an element of pressure that is so unique to team events. And I think it's been really cool to see how the athletes interact with one another and what approach they've taken. And they've all taken different approaches, haven't they?
Looks like you missed competitions, isn't it?
No, I'm not on a comeback. This is not my comeback. I do miss competitions. But there's some light
in your eyes when you're talking about that, actually.
Yeah, no, I do miss competitions. I absolutely adored my time. I'm glad I stopped when I did. I love being a rock climber and not having to perform at a given moment as well, because, you know, one thing it's important to realize is all these athletes have backstories. You don't know what's going on in their personal lives or what they have, like how they feel. Did they eat good? Did they sleep good? Are they injured? You know, there's so many layers to them as an individual, not them as a climber. And I think it's just so easy to forget that. So having experienced it myself and then to watch the athletes, yes, I miss it, but there's no way I wish I was back out there. Not in a World Cup. Maybe I'd do the odd invitational every now and then one day. But yeah, it's a really special environment, and I think events like this, removed from the World Cup circuit, just kind of let us see a new side to the athletes, which is cool.
That's interesting to hear from you actually, because I think, as you said, right, like you didn't think a lot when you are a spectator, and you are missing a lot of information when you are seeing this athlete performing, and you don't know, you are judging and seeing, but there's like so much on that image of athlete in that moment of competing, you know, like they put a lot of work to be there, a lot of time, effort, and it's everything for that moment. It's everything for the athletes. So I think, of course, I understand that that moment of rock climbing is maybe your focus now, and
Yeah.
another
I very
things,
much
another
appreciate being able to rest and feel ready to climb and not being told exactly when I have to go, because, you know, in a competition, you can't wait if you need to go pee, or you haven't warmed up well enough, or you didn't sleep good. You have to perform at that given time, and it's kind of what I loved about it. But yeah, it's also now what I love about the relaxed environment of rock climbing, other than you have the weather to contend with, which is a whole
which is
a whole
another,
new
it's another
game.
particular topic.
And a toddler to juggle. But you know, besides from that.
But despite of that, actually, it's kind of like the same things that you are doing, like when you are in a competition moment. But it's more, you are pushing yourself, but outside, and you can take your own time to go to your project, or maybe to find your I don't know, your place, or where you want to go to climb. Or
Yeah,
I
and
think it's another the same, but the same that you maybe are used to, but in another way, which is so cool.
Yeah, and there's a lot that I take from the competition world into rock climbing, and sometimes I really have to tap into that pressure, especially if there's a short weather window, or my daughter's bedtime is nearing and I have to get her home to bed. So yeah, there's definite elements of competition climbing, physically and mentally, that you can take into the rock climbing world, as we see a lot of these athletes do, you know. We've got athletes in this round who are some of the best rock climbers in the world as well, and others that solely focus on competition, whether that'll just be for now, or if that's just the direction of their career. And I think it's one of the things that I love so much about climbing, is that there are so many different ways to enjoy it, and that's what events like this really encompass.
Messieurs, dames, j'ai le plaisir d'être en direct toujours du TBA 4 ici à Climbing District, et d'être accompagné des gagnants hommes de cette 4e édition du TBA. Manu Cornu, Sota Magassa, merci de me rejoindre les gars, et encore une fois félicitations. Congratulations Sota for this amazing climb tonight. So you're the winner guys of the TBA 4. What is your feeling? Vous êtes les gagnants de ce 4e édition du TBA. C'est quoi votre sentiment Sota?
This competition is one of my favorite. So last year we talked about for the next year. Manu said I want to make a team with you, and I said why not? Yeah, of course. So today I won. I feel so happy. Yeah.
Thank you very much Sota. Donc Sota, ils ont décidé l'année dernière, c'est une compétition qui est vraiment spéciale pour lui, ils ont décidé l'année dernière de se mettre ensemble cette année, de faire équipe pour cette équipe de 2, et il y a vraiment ce sentiment plaisir de terminer à la première place de cette compétition. Manu, 4e édition du TBA, 3e pour toi, mais 3e finale consécutive si je dis pas de bêtises. Qu'est-ce qui rend cette compète si différente, si spéciale, ce TBA?
Bah, c'est tout l'ensemble. En vrai, déjà, c'est à Paris. Moi, je suis parisien, donc il y a déjà un sentiment d'être à la maison, même si, bon, voilà, bref. Mais à côté de ça, c'est la seule compète de l'année où en fait on est en équipe, où on peut vraiment énormément partager, même avec les autres. Bon, pas en finale, on est comme en finale de grosses compètes, mais par contre, ouais, il y a beaucoup de partage. Le fait d'être en équipe, ça rajoute un truc excitant. Il y a quand même de la pression. Donc c'est dans ce sens-là, je pense qu'il dit que c'est une compète aussi grave cool, ça nous change de tout ce qu'on fait toute l'année. Et voilà, il y a une bonne ambiance, les blocs sont bien, c'est cool.
Bon les gars, guys, congratulations once again. It's been a pleasure to watch you and see you climbing today. See you next year, maybe, for the next edition. Same team? Ah, we'll see. Merci beaucoup messieurs, dames, c'est la fin de cette édition. En tout cas, on se retrouve juste après pour les podiums officiels. À tout à l'heure, merci beaucoup.
great to hear from the athletes there, and I think it's been an experience for them for sure.
I think it's already everything prepared for the podium, and we can see finally the winners of this edition. We have a lot of surprises, new faces on that podium, which I think also it's nice. It's really nice. For me also it was quite funny because here the people cannot see what we have here in the table in front of the isolation, and it was quite funny for me also to see all the athletes, how they are doing all the preparation and how they are interact with all the others.
It's quite a unique experience.
I think it's quite unique because no one can see this behind of scenes.
Yeah, to be tucked behind an ISO. And the women's podium here, we've got our third place and second, and then we'll see our winners.
We have the Melody and Saula. American team. That's so cool.
Yeah, so in third place we have Zelia and Maylise. In second, Melody and Saula. And in first, Brooke and Chloe.
That's really funny, the presents for Jackie giving that's so cool. I really love Jackie.
So they've got very unique trophies that have been designed just for this event, I believe. And we have Jackie Godoff, legend of the route setting world, French route setter, presenting the prizes. And now the first prize, 6,000 euros to Brooke and Chloe.
Not so bad. It was cool. I actually really love this stylish of all the female, that glitter, all of this fancy, the ponytail. It's quite sweet.
Yeah, it's very expressive, isn't it? I think we need to see more glitter on the guys next year.
I don't know why they are not brave to play more, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of funny. Now is the turn of the males.
Yeah, we'll see the men's podium shortly as we get organised for that. Do you know if the boulders will remain up in the centre? Will people be able to come try them?
Yes, the idea normally they keep there for weeks. I don't want to say 1 month, but for sure like gonna stay like a few weeks on the gym. And after normally we do like some route setting to feel more boulders in that comb wall and in the other side. But the boulders are gonna stay because the people after they love to try them. So yeah, of course the people will be able to come here at Climbing District Jaurès and try all of them, and maybe be able also to do it. That could be nice to see.
Yeah, be sure to get yourself down to Climbing District, have a go yourself. And in third place we have Addie Bark and Yoni Katz. We got some big fans in the crowd.
Yes,
there.
I think it was all the Israeli team that they were competing this morning, and now we have Diego and Francois second place, and the big winners. Also like a huge fans of Manu. That's so nice.
Yeah, Manu Kornu and Sota Amagasa taking the win at TBA 4.
They are surprised of the gift of this year for all the winners.
Sota looking very pleased to be standing on that top spot. And everyone else looking a bit dazed and confused, to be honest. Don't think Diego and Francois expect to be there, and Yoni and Adi just look like they're absolutely buzzing to be on the podium as well, don't they?
It was really surprising, yes. Different than we expect. That's cool. Well, officially, TBF4 is done. It was so fast. I remember like weeks ago planning, talking, and then the setting days, and now it's like in 1 second, it's over.
I think we'll get to see the save the date at some point as well, because it's confirmed for next year, right? We will have a TBA 5, is that right?
I don't know. I mean, I would be afraid to say something, but let's see. Hopefully,
watch
right?
this space. We might get to see. But thank you so much for watching. It was definitely an interesting show. We're sorry about the sound issues that we had at the start. We're glad we fixed them. Thank you so much to our team behind the scenes, and hopefully we'll see you next year.
Thanks.
Arcteryx.
We're just checking in. We're currently sitting in a pretty heavy snow squall.
obsessively designed gear for mountain athletes. With you from cold starts to the last lap. Worn when it counts. Arc'teryx.